Okay, calm down. You got nervous, man. You got nervous, man. Okay, calm down.
Hello and welcome to the Katie Halper Show, which you can see live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. And we also release clips every day. So excited to be here with you. We have a great show. We got a little serious. We got a little silly. We got some political comedy for all of you. Of course, please do like the stream. That's a way that you can support the show for absolute free. You can hit the like button. Please share. Please subscribe. Press subscribe and then the bell so that you never miss any of these streams. We're at over 190,000 subscribers, so that's great. We're going to get to 200K soon. Also, you can become YouTube members and you can become Patreon supporters at patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show. That's patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show. And we give you most weeks, almost all weeks, we give you extra content if you are a Patreon supporter at the $5 level. And this week, for instance, we give you a full extended interview with Cornel West. And if you can't do the $5 level, you can still do the $1 a month level. And that just lets us make the show. We really could not do the show without you. So thank you so much to all the Patreons out there. And thank you for everyone who's tuning in. I'm going to be talking during the second half of the show to none other than Cornel West. But before I speak to Cornel West, I'm so excited to be bringing on two other guests. One we've had on already, and I'm so excited to bring him back. And that's Matt Lieb, a comedian, podcaster, accidental award-winning journalist, and host of the podcast Bad Hasbara. And we're bringing on Blakeley, and they are making their Katie Halper Show debut. They're a songwriter, TikTok content creator, and Michael Rapaport Roaster. So welcome.
Hey.
Hi. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Doing all right. Happy to be back. Stoked on it. Sorry my hair looks like shit.
It looks great.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you.
Sure. I mean, I'm not just saying that to be nice. I think it looks fine.
Yeah. I just ran and picked up my child and then I got all sweaty and shit. But I'm stoked to be here. This is last time I was on, I had a lot of fun. This is a fun show. And I don't remember if I did this last time, so I'm going to do it now. Can I plug the comedy show that I'm doing in Sacramento?
Absolutely not. Total conflict of interest. Yeah, plug away. Oh, that's a reminder. I have to plug mine too. But
I'm going to be, if you're in the Sacramento area on March 17th, that's a Sunday at 7 p.m., myself and my wife, Francesca Fiorentini, we're going to be co-headlining the Sacramento Punchline. Please come out. It's a lot of fun. And I would love for, people to celebrate their, St. Patty's Day that day.
Oh,
Am I allowed to swear? I forgot.
Yeah, we try to keep it apparently it's bad for the algorithm if it's too early, but I don't think it's it's okay. It's fucking okay.
All right.
It's so fucking okay.
But if you're ready to have a effing good time with some PG comedy.
Gosh darn it.
Gosh darn it. Buy tickets. I wanted to do that because I forgot to last time.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm glad you're not making the same mistake this time.
Yeah. This time I won't be funny. That's
okay, good. Yeah, last time you were funny. So
I'm gonna let Blakeley be funny, and I'm just gonna sit and watch.
Yeah.
Don't pressure me.
No pressure, right? And by the way, I'm gonna put a link in here. I'm gonna be part of a comedy benefit for Palestine for Doctors Without Borders, and it's gonna be catered by Ayat. Very good Palestinian food. Ayat, and they're going to be providing beverages, and you can buy in-person tickets, which are more expensive, or you can buy Zoom tickets. And it's a comedy fundraiser benefiting Doctors Without Borders and the Egyptian Red Crescent. So there's my plug.
That's awesome. When is it?
Right, I forgot that part. It is Friday at 7:30 in Yonkers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And Blakeley, do you have anything to plug or announce besides? I mean, if not, we got your TikTok videos that we're about to show. But
my health insurance is about to expire.
All right, set up a GoFundMe for that.
Actually, just to plug my YouTube channel, which I'm still trying to understand how to use, which is just I am Blakeley. It's the same handle as my TikTok. And yeah, I'm also just Blakeley on Spotify.
Right.
Nice.
And feel free to change if you want your name to be any handle, you can do that. If you say what handle you want to do, Brad can do that, or I can do that for you because we didn't tell you how to do that before.
Wait, what?
You know how on your screen it says Blakeley?
Yeah, and see how it's like Matt Lieb jokes, or for me it's patreon.com/the Katie Halper Show. So we could do at I am Blakeley if you want,
or like dog dicks.
Yeah, yeah. Either
I mean,
one.
That's just an example.
Yeah, just an example. He was just being pedagogical about it. Yeah. So let's see. I thought we could, Matt's show is called Bad Hasbara, and Hasbara means explaining in Hebrew, but it really is kind of shorthand for Israeli propaganda, Israeli Zionist propaganda.
That's right. Western facing usually. So it's like
right.
Not propaganda for other Israelis, but propaganda for, Europe and America. And stuff.
Yes, exactly. So I thought it'd be great for us to review some propaganda from some Hasbara.
Hell yeah.
And one of the, I don't even know if he's a successful Hasbarist because I don't think he's intelligent enough to really do Hasbara.
Oh, you don't have to be smart to be a successful Hasbarist. In fact, the dumber you are, the more likely you are to have a following.
Oh, okay. So that would make sense. Well, one of my favorite Hasbarists is none other than actor Michael Rappaport. And
actor.
Yeah, actor in quotes, yeah.
Michael Rappaport.
Yeah. I know. Who is apparently Jewish, which I don't like publicizing that just out of self-interest. But Blakeley, you've been doing the Lord's work, impersonating Michael Rappaport. Let's start off with, and by the way, we showed a bunch of Matt's videos last time he was on, and we're going to show some more, but we're going to start with Blakeley videos. So let's start off with, by taking a look at, in order to understand Blakeley's takedowns of Michael Rappaport. Unfortunately, it does require seeing the Michael Rappaport video. So let's take a look at this one is very smart. Michael Rappaport's apartheid video.
All right, I'm in Jerusalem at the Machane Yehuda market. I'm looking for the apartheid. Okay, in Israel, I am looking for the apartheid. I just asked all these people, not one person.
Okay, it's he's saying apartheid. Just want
yes, it's apartheid.
Yeah,
Does he think he's saying the word apartment? Like, I don't think he's just pointing at apartments and asking where the apartheid is.
I also love that there's no people.
Right.
Like, it's just a building.
Yeah.
They cleared the street. Michael Rappaport is making a video. Everyone get in your home, especially the Arabs.
Yeah.
Is able to tell me where the apartheid is. So I'm asking you on this platform, since you're so smart, to tell me where I can go to actually witness the apartheid. You guys know where the apartheid is? No idea. No one knows where the apartheid is, but I'm sure you can tell me. Let me know where the apartheid in Israel is.
Okay. So
walking around occupied Jerusalem.
I know. Does he not know how it works at all? Does he think it's like on every block there's a separation? Like half the block is.
It's his first time there.
Yeah, 100%. This is for those of you who don't know. I can't say this for a fact, but it very much seems to me like Michael Rappaport is in his first time like birthright era now. I saw a tweet from him a few days ago where he said, I got bar mitzvahed, finally.
At 50 something, right?
Yeah, like 53, which, come on, who are you kidding? Yeah. 63.
Yeah.
But also, like, to me, I was just like, oh, this all makes perfect sense. If October 7th had happened when I was thinking about going to Israel on birthright, who knows what kind of fucking douchebag I'd be.
Right. Yeah,
you know?
True. And someone wrote in the comments that he thinks it's a person. Apartheid.
Yes.
Yeah. It
yes.
does sound like he's looking for a person in apartheid.
Looking for someone, as I say often about him, everywhere except for the camera.
Yeah, that's his
At the
interesting
camera,
technique. Yeah.
His eyes are always like wandering elsewhere.
Well, let's let you show your own interpretation of Michael Rappaport. Let's take a look at this video that was inspired by Michael's apartheid video. Let's take a look at this Blakeley video.
I'm on the Upper East Side, and I keep asking people, where is the apartheid? Where is the fucking income inequality? I haven't seen a single fucking project here on the Upper East Side. I need to get back into the middle of the road and look somewhere else that's not the camera. Listen, you fucks. The only thing I fucking see is older ladies with Hermes scarves up here. Where's the apartheid? It's like when you fucks say that there is police brutality. Really? Because I was just walking by a fucking precinct and saw a black cop. You want to say there's police brutality? Show me. Just like you fucks want to say that there's apartheid. Well, I'm here. I'm here on the Upper East Side. You fuck, show me where it is. I haven't seen a single poor black up here. Or any black people at all. I refuse to leave fucking Tel Aviv, but I need you to show me where the apartheid is, you fucks. I was helping a fucking settler move into a house he stole in the occupied West Bank, and the Palestinian family that were fucking in there didn't even try to fight the armed IOF moving their shit out, okay? Now if you'll like fucking excuse me, I'm gonna go have a Palestinian child for lunch.
So good. So good.
He's deranged.
Yeah, and he's been responding to those videos that you've been making, huh?
Yes, like can't stop, won't stop. Like one day he just kept responding. And what's really funny is when it comes to the Zionists, every accusation is a confession.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Every accusation. So, and another thing that they do, which I just want to mention, that it's the same shit. It's like they have a playbook they just repeat over and over again. They love to go, oh yeah, have you tried being queer in Gaza?
Mm-hmm.
They really think that they're nailing it every time. They always think, oh, I'll get you a plane. He said to me, I'll get you a plane ticket to Ramallah and see, but he was calling it Ramallah, which I don't understand why, if you're pretending to be indigenous to the land, Lamau, like why you're calling it Pamela Ramallah. Like,
okay, you Ramalama ding dong tickets.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. I don't think they say it like that.
And also, I'm sorry, fly into where now?
Yeah.
Do you think there's an airport there?
Right, exactly.
Do you think they control the airspace?
Is there an airport in Ramallah is the question. And then he's like, and then he keeps calling me a bitch. And
what?
Like,
oh my God.
Christ.
He's like so bad at being, what I appreciate about him though, he and his friend Lee Kern, we'll get to shortly, they're both like, they don't even pretend to be liberal or open-minded. Like there's a very dangerous streak of like touchy-feely Zionism that pretends to be all accepting and like rainbow Zionism, and there's pink washing, and there's, you know, that phenomenon of PEP, progressive accept on Palestine. But what's nice about him is that he's such a brute. Like he's so vulgar and obnoxious, and I don't even know what the right word for him is. He's a douchebag. He's a douchebag. He's just a douchebag. That's exactly what he is. He's just a douchebag. And it's nice to see the mask off sometimes, as opposed to this polished, West, as you were saying, kind of like the more vanilla and streamlined and shiny Zionism.
Well, for sure, but he lives in a very special like niche in terms of like Hasbaris, because he has the like affectation of like a straight right-wing genocidal Zionist, and those, you know, they'll just say out loud all of the awful shit that they want to do, but he's still like couches it in liberal Zionism. So, you know, be like, hey, you fucking bitch, why don't you go to Gaza and get raped? But it's like, wait, hold on. It sounds, first of all, you sound like someone who's pro-rape based on language alone. And then also it's like, you know, he'll talk about, you know, like you said, gay people, you know, being executed and stuff, while at the same time having completely no knowledge of basically anything. I just looked it up just to be sure. Yeah, there are no airports in any of the occupied territories. Like the fact that he's like, oh, I'll buy you a ticket to Ram Ding Dong. It's like, bro, could you Google and find out? There's the apartheid. Found it.
Yeah, and as I was saying, like every accusation is a confession. To me, what this has revealed to me is that a lot of these so-called liberal Zionists are just transphobes and bigots.
Yeah.
And they kind of project their fantasies of what they want to see happen to us onto us.
100%.
So, like,
yeah.
They'll try to get me with the, did you know that like they have pride in Israel and this and this and that, and they would throw you off a roof in Gaza, you dumb fucking queer whore.
Yeah. Right. I hope it
you're
happens.
an ally. They're allies. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, wait.
I think it's so funny that the idea that, and I've heard this so many times from people, like, how could you be a queer for Palestine, or they would throw you off of rooftops? It's like, so your solution is to bomb those people.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that LGBTQ people who you claim to be acting in solidarity with, or you claim to be in that community, do you think they have special like some kind of magic powers where they can withstand bombs? Like it just kills the straight people? Like, like walk me through how this is good allyship.
No, it's because their solution to microaggressions is macroaggressions.
Right.
Like their entire thing is like all of these like liberal BuzzFeed 2015 like talking points about like imposter syndrome and shit like that, and just grafting it onto like a Palestinian baby and just being like, hey, you know what? Better it dies than be a bigot. And you're like, I think you might be a bigot. Right. That sounds like something a bigot would say.
You may be. Yeah.
Right. And like, they don't even hear themselves or realize that they're actually saying a ton of transphobic shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I get it all the time, that they're couching in being liberal Zionists who are, quote unquote, trying to protect gay people and people in the LGBTQ plus community. Yeah. I'm like, you're just... And Michael Rappaport does it all the time. He was tweeting that shit at me over and over and over again. And this
because he was offering to pay you to pay your way to
to an airport that doesn't exist,
to an airport in Ramallah that doesn't exist, in order so that I guess I can get stoned or something, because he said I've got to wear like a Queers for Palestine shirt, in the hopes that, and then they always go into these fantasies about how I'm going to get raped by Hamas or like some other fantasy. When I'm like, bro, if I actually were to go to Israel, let's just say, I would be afraid of getting killed by an IOF soldier. Yeah. That's who I would be afraid of being killed by.
That's who does the majority of killing in the occupied territories. And also, I think it's like the perfect like encapsulation of like the Zionist like colonial thinking in terms of their superiority as like a culture and as a people, is to be like, is to outsource the atrocity that you want done to an imaginary figure that you just assume every Arab is, to just be like, you know what happened if you go, it's like the same people say, oh yeah, why don't you go down the street in Compton and then you get robbed and killed and raped, and it's just like, so do you just think that like there are no mailmen, fucking cab drive, like there are people in all these neighborhoods that exist. There are people in the occupied West Bank who exist in peace most of the time, unless they are being fucking harassed and murdered and detained and killed by IOF soldiers. So it's like it just shows, it's an insight into their racism, that they would just automatically assume that wherever you go as a queer person or as a trans person in the West Bank or in Gaza, you would just get killed by, because of Arabs.
It's their racism. It's also their rage, their white supremacist rage.
100%.
At the idea that they get like the white backlash, or the white supremacist backlash that people get when they feel that someone who looks like me should be on their side.
Yeah. 100%.
And when I'm not, they're enraged. And all of a sudden, people who supposedly were like, oh, we're an LGBTQ ally, are sending me messages describing my rape.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I love gay people so much that I want to give them a graphic, detailed version of their execution.
Yeah. And I also like,
not by me. I'm cool. I'm not.
Anything I know, I wouldn't
love
do
you
it.
I would never do that. But boy, let me just detail.
Let me
all
tell
the
you
shit
about
they
them
would-
Arabs.
Yeah, let me tell you about them, because oh god, it just makes me hot just thinking about it. But hot with rage, because I don't like it.
Next week, I'm having on Dean Spade, who does amazing organizing, trans activist, and also Kadir Shafi, who is a queer Palestinian writer and activist, and they're going to be responding to all this pink washing. And we actually have a video we may get to, a horrible Hasbara video we may get to that does quite a bit of pink washing. But I wanted to, sorry to subject you guys to more Michael Rappaport, but let's take a look at another Michael Rappaport video and then Blakeley's response to that. And this is the FU video.
Other people, if you do not like Jews, you. If you don't like Israel, you. If you don't take 60 seconds to look up what a Zionist is, you. You say genocide, I say you. You say apartheid, I say you. You say occupation, I say you, you dumb You don't shake our hands at basketball games, you. You don't want us on campus, you. Leave, scumbag. You don't want us to exist, you. You do not want Jews in Israel to defend ourselves, you. You have a problem with Jews because we're Jews, you. October 7th didn't happen. When you saw the videotape.
Okay, they're not October
says
denialists.
this?
There aren't like October 7th truthers. No one's saying it didn't happen. What is he like? I like how earnest he is. That I almost feel bad like making fun of him, because it really does feel like you're making fun of someone who can't intellectually, like cognitively defend themselves.
I know,
But,
it's like
he
making
really
fun
seems
of
moved and
Simple
upset
Sam.
That people think he really seems to think that people don't believe October 7th happened. Like, there is Holocaust denial, but I have not encountered any October 7th denial.
Yeah, I mean, it like, to me, the entire narrative around October 7th denial is like completely fabricated, because I have yet to see anybody be like, no, man, that was all AI.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
yeah.
it's
False
like,
flag.
no, we know it happened. The question is how many civilians were killed versus how many soldiers were killed, and also how did all those fires break out?
Right.
And
And
you know,
also like the claims where you know, they're using mass rape as a reason and a justification for the continued slaughter of people in Gaza.
Right.
Asking for evidence of certain claims, not saying
problematic.
October 7th didn't happen,
Right.
but asking for evidence of certain claim is not October 7th denialism. He's so embarrassing.
He really
And
is.
I want to know what his neighbor thought. He's just screaming into the
No,
camera.
where is he?
it's Tel Aviv.
Tel Aviv, I guess. Let's throw the mic back at him. Sorry, it's almost over.
And you saw everything that happened on October 7th. You. You. Matter of fact, you.
I like that. Where that additional matter of fact, fuck you. That's
Yeah,
a
he had a-
comedic genius there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he had a punchline.
Yeah, the
and it was
punchline.
the
Yeah,
same
nice
thing.
tag.
I find his videos really funny because he's such a fucking moron. And he has so much confidence in his stupidity.
Yes.
I also love that he sings it. It's a song. Fuck you.
Yeah. It's a very Soldier Boy.
Yeah, it is. Well, Blakeley, you did a response to that video, so let's take a look.
Is you. You say genocide, I say
You, fuck Blues Clues. Listen, you for those of you who look at what is actually happening and call it what it is, I've got a message for you. Fuck you. You took the time to look up what it meant to be a Zio, the project that we're actually trying to carry out. Fuck you, I didn't mean it literally. You say apartheid, I say fuck you. You say genocide, I say bring back the electric slide. You say occupation, I say what f***ing sector. You don't like the IOF looting the f***ing houses after they bombed them and stealing their wives' shoes? Fuck you, my wife wears an 8.5, it'll fit her perfectly. You don't want to watch my B-rate Hulu show? Fuck you. You say freedom of speech on campus, I say f*** you, snowflake. Wait, you don't like pasty strawberry blonde New Yorkers that turn bright red in the f***ing sun, claiming indigeneity to the region? You called out Anat Schwartz and her New York Times fake atrocity propaganda? you. You want proof of anything? You. It's classified. Don't mind my beautiful beachfront property. I am very oppressed. I'm Israel Chai.
I'm Israel Chai.
So good. Yeah.
So he reposted that video on Twitter and said something like, first of all, he called me a slut in one of them, which I just find amazing that he keeps calling me a whore.
What is wrong with him? Like, he doesn't even know how to be a good.
Yeah, it's like, what, bro? What? Like, give up the ghost already with the liberal shit. Just be a psychopath.
Right,
At least it's honest. Just be honest about it.
And then he said he started trying to rip apart my appearance.
Oh,
which, by the way, I really love, because I'm like, this motherfucker looks like a shaved anus.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
Where's the lie? Yeah.
And then he's like, I guess you're like slutting around or dancing for your TikTok money, because apparently he is a boomer and doesn't understand that we were on Twitter when this was happening.
Right.
So he thought it was TikTok. And then he's like, for your tips, for your lip filler, I guess you use some of your money to get lip filler. I was like, first of all, you should not be making fun of how anyone looks, Playboy.
I know.
Like,
I mean,
like, how do you leave yourself open to that?
I know.
When
Like, it hurts me more than it hurts him, honestly.
Yeah. you're just a giant freckle blemish. Like, his whole body is just herpes simplex 1.
100%. It's also transphobic because he knows that I'm non-binary, because he's made comments about being a queer going to Gaza multiple times.
Right.
So by continuing to say that I'm a slut and by saying that I'm dancing for tips, it is like misogyny and transphobia together.
Right.
And then on top of that, bringing up like, oh, you got money for lip. First of all, Playboy, you could use some lip filler.
I know.
Okay?
That's why I'm like, why is he saying this? I just don't understand it. I'm almost moved by his self-confidence. It's like it's like almost delusional. Like, it's a kid who, it's like an after-school special I'm almost moved that he has the delusional self-confidence to think about commenting on other people's looks.
Oh,
yes. And also, like, it's funny because he does have that delusional self-confidence. Like, for me, if I'm going to be making fun of someone, I have to set aside my insecurities, because you can't let yourself go and be in a moment like that if you're self-conscious about how you look.
Right.
But when I saw that, I was like, no, son, you are not making fun of my appearance. You are not making fun of anybody's appearance.
Oh, wow. Who wore it better? Michael Rappaport or an actual potato?
Yes. No, he actually does look like a potato. Somebody said that on my Instagram, and they were like, and I feel bad for making fun of his appearance. I was like, look, guys, this is my rule when it comes to making fun of people, okay? I don't punch down. So if somebody is, unless they're cruel first. So if somebody is hideously ugly, and like Michael Rappaport is, and I would not generally make fun of their appearance, but if he's going to go low and start mocking my appearance or mocking other people's appearances or shitting on marginalized groups, well then, bitch, you are opening yourself up to be criticized for the potato that you are. Okay. If you're going to act
potato
like
phobia, it's actual. I don't mean to potato victim blame, but
of course
he brought it upon himself. Like, if he was just being the disgusting, racist, transphobic, rape fan that he is, you would call him all those things and make fun of him, but you wouldn't say you look like a potato. It's because he talks about your looks that then you're justified, I think, to call him a potato.
Exactly. Also, okay, so he had reposted that video and somebody posted on his own page, you really shouldn't be harassing people. And he posted a screenshot of him getting charged, or not, I don't know if it was charged, but getting
Lily Taylor got a restraining order against him.
Yes.
Some kind of order against him. Yeah,
for harassing her. I guess he was harassing his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then he thought, because again, it's the delusional confidence for me. He thought that he really nailed it by responding to that person
with a previous crime.
Yeah. For the harassing his ex-girlfriend, he wrote, "We had a great time."
Yeah,
what?
Like we had a great relationship or something.
He's like, we had a great time. What?
Like,
excuse me, bitch?
Yeah.
Are you really writing that?
Wait, what was his point there?
I guess that he had a great time with the ex-girlfriend that has a restraining order against him.
It sounds like also a veiled threat a little bit. Like, oh, I don't give a fuck. I will cross legal boundaries to call someone a slut.
Like what? Yeah, I can't believe that after someone called him out for having an ex-girlfriend, like get some kind of order against him, that he didn't just shut up.
Yeah,
like, why would you respond to that?
And then you have motherfuckers like Noah Tishby doing propaganda with him. Like he's been fully employed.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
I know.
I am convinced that none of these people would have a job if it weren't for the lobby. Because how they're getting on shows and shit when they're not funny and they're fucking hacks. I'm convinced that they're just all being paid by the Israeli lobby, which is how he's all of a sudden everywhere. Okay.
Right.
Literally didn't even know who he was like a year ago. My sisters had to tell me he was in like some movie from the 90s.
Someone posted.
It's called Deep Blue Sea, and it's amazing. What if Shark Big?
He was in Copland, right?
Yeah, he was in Copland.
I saw someone tweet the other day. They're like, Copland's my favorite movie because Michael Rappaport kills himself in it.
He was in, you know him for, like, as the actor most likely to be cast as racist Boston man.
Right. Yeah.
He was in, he played a skinhead in the Basketball Diaries. He was in
the
Next
Basketball.
Rider.
Oh, that's why he has so many issues about his Jewish identity.
Dude, and this is the annoying.
He knows he can play a skinhead. That's
But
Wait a second.
that's
So
a lot.
this is how much I didn't know who this loser was. I love the Basketball Diaries. I've seen that movie a million times. I didn't even know he was in that. I thought that was Mark Wahlberg. Same accent, same racist history.
Well, that's the thing about like him, and I swear to God, this rash of fucking super Zionist celebrity comedians and actors. Celebrity comedians and actors who have all been on this tear since October 7th of just yelling at people. And they're all the same. They're all blonde-haired, blue-eyed, goysha fucking like appearance. And they all are just like, as a Jew. And then it blows my fucking mind.
Which are the same people who scream at anti-Zionist Jewish people and say they're fake Jews,
or call us. Their famous thing is calling us as a Jews,
right?
As if that's like something we say constantly. All these
self-hating.
All these people I had to be told. These people were Jewish. I didn't know Rappaport was Jewish till he screamed it at me.
I didn't either. I thought he was like, I don't know, like Irish, Italian, New Yorker.
I thought he was ethnically racist. Yeah.
That's
and
why
he is, but a different kind. Yeah.
It's like people like Amy Schumer who are just, or like Eliza Schlesinger who are just like, will you hide me? Like, bitch, no one knows you're Jewish.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I will not hide you. I will block you.
Right.
I'll block you on social media. But
I thought, oh my gosh, when I made my video trolling, making fun of Mayim Bialik, I thought she said it. So I said, would you hide me in that video? Because I thought it was her.
No, they all say it. It was like a thing they were trying. There was a few failed social media campaigns that happened.
Right.
Yes.
And one of them was, would you hide me? There was just, it was.
Which is amazing to me because these are the same motherfuckers that will like tear apart anti-Zionist Jews and say self-hating Jew, attack Norman Finkelstein, and then they'll turn around and go, well, you can't say real Jew, but I'm a real Jew and you're not. Like,
no, it's to them, Zionism, belief in Zionism and being a Zionist is what makes you Jewish or not Jewish.
Anti-Semitic.
Which is unironically
the irony. Exactly. That's what's so sad. I'm like, please stop perpetuating the dual loyalty myth. Please stop. You are the worst. You and Israel and the ADL and AIPAC are very anti-Semitic, actually.
And
which I don't remember who I was arguing with, like in a live or something, but like they were saying like I had no right to talk about this. I had no right to have an opinion on what's going on.
Right.
I'm neither Jewish nor Palestinian. And then they started going off about like how you needed to be supportive of Israel if you were a real Jew. I'm like, that is unironically anti-Semitic.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to play. So you mentioned singing, that he sings, and there actually is a video of him singing. Brad, do we have the singing one?
Fuck
yeah,
you.
it's Michael Rappaport's song.
You guys, if I had the... Oh, sorry.
No. Say.
I was just gonna say, whenever I mostly record songs, I have to record them with producers because I'm not tech savvy. But if I had the capabilities, you don't even know how many songs I would make. I would take Michael Rappaport's "Fuck You" and I would put it into a song.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, we can talk about that after the show. Okay, let's take a look at this thing that he recorded with Aviva Kompla, who is like,
oh God, Klompy.
She's the worst, Klompy. Yeah, she's absolutely the worst. She's always just like tweeting out. She's like, "Look at this face. Can you believe it?" It's like a hostage or something. It's like, okay, that is sad, but like, why don't you then negotiate for that person's release instead of bombing the building she's in, which is what you're advocating for?
Trying to drown everyone in the tunnel, including this picture of a baby you keep putting in.
Exactly.
She does the same thing as Eve Fartlow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're the worst. So let's take a look at this. I can't believe he actually recorded this, but let's take a look at this song.
Palestine. From fucking Hamas.
From fucking Hamas.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
From fucking Hamas.
From fucking Hamas.
Stop fucking with Jews.
Stop fucking with Jews.
Leave Israel alone.
Leave Israel alone.
Come out, sin war.
Come out, sin war.
You little fucking bitch.
Little fucking bitch.
Make it stop.
I mean, why would he act? That's the type of thing you record it, then you watch it and you delete it right away. Like,
right.
Again, it's that confidence that he actually thinks it's a good thing to release that. It's not funny. He doesn't have a good voice. Like, what does he think he's contributing?
It didn't even rhyme.
He's actually helping the anti-Zionist cause because he's so terrible that every time he opens his mouth, we win a little bit.
No, you're literally right, Katie, because I feel like he actually does. Because it's like, that wasn't funny. It didn't even rhyme. Do you think if you just throw fucking into everything that's going to make it interesting? I wish I had that delusional confidence in some ways. You know, it's like you get self-conscious, you're kind of unsure about things. But it's like, if I had that kind of delusional confidence, I would probably be making a lot more money and in a different stage of my life than I am.
That's what, you should work on having that sort of shamelessness. Then you too could someday play white person who says the N-word with the hard R in a movie someday.
Yeah.
Also, the projection of the money, because there are actually firms that will pay influencers, pay content creators to make pro-Israeli propaganda to disseminate all over the internet, and they're paying a lot for it.
But I feel like with him, I'd like pay him not to do that. I'd pay him to stay quiet. I'd be like, "We saw your video. Here's $100 to never do that again."
No, I think he's doing a service, man, because it's like there's a level of like dumbassery that I think needs to be pointed out when it comes to, like, because no one is changing their opinion, and no one is saying good point who didn't already believe that Palestinians aren't people. You know what I mean? Like, he's not doing anything like clever or like positive for the Zionist cause. So I'm kind of like, go for it, man. Have fun,
I think he's harming it, honestly.
Yeah, go on fucking, Israel SNL and do the same 3 jokes. They're so like conservatives in that they have like 3 jokes. They have gay people.
My pronouns are that joke.
They have my pronouns jokes, and gay people will get killed by Arabs. It's like just those over and over again. And college kids it's basically college kids are gay, huh?
Right.
That's that's their one joke.
Yeah. Well,
it literally is every time. When I think I told you guys this, or I've told some people this. I got doxxed by someone who works for the Israeli embassy. Okay.
Oh shit.
Insanity.
Wow.
And he actually wrote pronouns was about me. Psycho.
Oh my God. That's really terrible.
Yeah.
And I was like,
who is this person?
Oh, I forget his name. I could find it. It's on my Twitter. I retweeted it over and over and over again because I couldn't believe what a psycho he was.
Yeah.
And he was bragging about working for the Israeli embassy after somebody had outed him because they were like, you doxed them. Like, we're not going to dox you, but this is where this guy works. And he was like proud of it.
Yeah, no, their whole thing is being proud of being monsters. I mean, that's they have a completely inverted worldview that allows them to act monstrously because they believe at the end of the day that they are the ultimate victims and the oppressed. So,
Right.
so they will proudly stand, up for their right to be genocidal maniacs. They don't care.
Well, it's not just terrible songs that he does. He actually puts production into this.
Well,
this is like
I'm not so
awful.
much him putting production
Right.
as like the state of Israel paying him
Yeah, exactly.
to
So
make the worst content in the world.
I tweeted out someone tweeted out a video of Hillary Clinton making comments about mass rape on October 7th, and I quote tweeted it and said, "More women have accused your husband of rape than they've accused Hamas of rape." And he jumped in the comments and just put a link to this very interesting parody video. Let's take a look.
All right, everybody knows that sports is really about the wings. Buffalo wings, spicy wings, hot wings. So I got some folks here. We're going to try some fantastic wings with. Who are you guys?
I'm Dylan. I'm from University of PC. Go Humbacks.
All right. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Margaret, and I'm a housewife and mother to 4 angels.
Well, I cannot wait for you guys to try some of these wings. Let's get into it.
God, this is such a long way to go for this joke.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
This is awful.
That's right. Because these are new Hamas hot wings, 100% pure shit. How do they taste?
Like shit.
That's right, because everything Hamas has been feeding you is shit. And these wings are 100% pure grass-fed Hamas shit.
Are these like, is this like actual shit that I'm eating?
Yes, that is actual shit you are eating. No, don't stop now. You've been eating that Hamas shit for so long. And while you've been eating that shit, civilians are still in captivity. There is no excuse for raping, kidnapping, and murdering. Hamas is full of shit, and anybody who tells you otherwise is also full of shit. Listen, if you want some Hamas shit, go on social media, go to a rally. It's everywhere. Try it. You can use as much as you want, from the river to the sea. And go ahead, wipe that Hamas shit off your mouth. Don't touch my napkin.
Hamas is full of shit. Don't swallow it.
Written by who?
Yeah. All right.
Written by
so
Lee Kern.
Oh my gosh, look at all the people involved in this.
It took you guys. That takes a lot of talent and a lot of coordination. You think you wake up one morning and decide to do that? No, that takes months.
Why is there a 35-person crew
I know,
for a
crew, I
sketch
know.
where it's
That's-
one joke and it's
one joke and
Hamas
it's
is
terrible.
bullshit?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my gosh,
awful.
I didn't even realize that till at the very end. You guys saw all the people.
Who
That
puts
was a whole
credits at the end of a video?
That
They
was
do
the whole
bad
production.
Again, it's that delusional self-confidence where you actually think people want their names on it. I would,
Yeah, well-
if I had done that, I'd be like, I'll do this on one condition: you don't put my name in the credits.
I love needing your name in the credits. That is
Bullshit video. Yeah.
beautiful.
Well, let's take a look at this. The writer of this guy Lee Kern, who wrote the screenplay to Borat 2, and he one of about 9 different people who are credited. One of the crew, yeah.
Yes.
And he, like Michael, he has an equally openly bigoted and racist worldview.
Yes.
That is a little bit weird. There's something like he looks too young for it. Not that he looks young, but
Yeah, I was like, what?
He's like, I can't explain it though. His bigotry is like, it's presented in a way that older people usually do it.
Right.
Bigotry
Well, he's
beyond
British.
his years.
He's British, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at Lee Kern.
Hey, so the Arab and Muslim world thinks that if they just constantly harass Israel and commit awful crimes, get Israel now and then, and just act like fucking dicks and do October the 7th and fire
October the
rockets
7th.
and just be like generally fucking knobheads. Right?
Yeah.
The Arab and Muslim world just think if they just keep doing it and keep doing it, that will somehow get fatigued and walk away and leave Israel, and that'll be done. Then they can come here and, you know, create some Islamic state crap hole, theocratic shithole. They think that's what's going to happen.
Is that what I think?
Do you dicks even understand the Jewish story? Do you understand? You think we're going to run out of endurance and stamina? You do
Weird.
understand that 2,000
By the way, all the like sexual, social, psychosexual projection is pretty clear in that. Run out of endurance and stamina. Like you need to work on your issues, and then maybe your worldview of politics will be clearer. But
Also, what is just his argument too, where he's just like, you think a Joe's just gonna go away? You think they're gonna leave? And it's like, yeah, man, the history of Jews is that we get kicked out of places.
It's pogrom heavy.
Yeah.
We kind of leaned into the pogrom.
Yeah, I don't even know what history you're talking about here. You're just talking about Israel right now. Yeah. Another place apparently we were also kicked out of. Isn't that the whole premise of the coming back? What are you talking about?
In our indigenous home of Israel, the Romans kicked the majority of us out, while some remained, but the majority of Jews went into.
Wait, you just said that we never leave. Okay, and now you're going to go through the history.
You think you can just kick us out? Yeah, you can, but not for long. Only a few thousand years.
2,000 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
And do you understand, for 2,000 years, the Jewish people maintained all their rituals, customs, traditions, and identity and connection to Israel, which is absolutely fused with every aspect of Jewish identity and peoplehood, from the prayers that
the modern state of Israel is not fused with the identity of Judaism from before the modern state of Israel existed.
To the Hebrew language, to the calendar.
Hebrew language is modern Hebrew. It
was made up.
2,000 years. We had endurance to maintain who we are, with connection to the land that we were dispossessed of. 2,000 years. And so you think just because you come and act like a bunch of little pricks firing rockets or being cockends now and then, just trying to murder and contradict, you think you're going to wear us out and we'll run out of stuff.
Well, certainly you have worse allegations.
Decades of this crap.
Certainly you have worse allegations, and it's like, a bunch of dickheads, a bunch of noobs, a bunch of bellends. And it's like, wait, you're not genociding people because they're bellends, are you?
Right.
Let's pack it in and walk away and let these cunts take over this land. It's not going to happen. You don't understand Jews at all. It's so amazing. It's absolutely astonishing how much so many Muslims and Arabs have no idea about the Jewish soul or character or identity or who we are. You really are clueless. It's astonishing.
It is.
And you think you do. You keep.
Please stop presenting the Zionist soul, by the way. Like, I don't want anyone to think that that's the Jewish soul.
Well, see,
like,
this
what
is...
Israel is doing.
Yes.
Please dissociate that from Jewishness.
And I'm sorry, but this right here is a perfect example of just the disdain that Zionists have for Jews and Jewish history and the history of Jews in the diaspora.
Right.
That like this? He's saying like you don't understand Jews. What he means is like you don't understand Zionists.
Exactly.
Like because like Jews have been kicked out. We've been kicked out of fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Zionists.
Like the whole tradition of anti-Zionist Jewry.
Yes.
Like lots of Jews didn't want Zionism for various reasons.
Right, because kicking us out is
and then you have like Orthodox Jews who, for very different reasons, sometimes overlapping reasons, but oppose the state of Israel.
Yes. And it's just like this idea where he's like talking about this Jewish history of like never backing down and whatnot. It just shows this disdain. It frames the mass expulsion of Jews throughout Europe and throughout, the world as weakness. It frames it as something to be ashamed of.
Right.
And that's the whole Zionist thing, is this idea of like these disgusting diaspora Jews who are willing to live in a place where they are the minority as opposed to like colonizing place and
becoming a demographic majority artificially. Yeah. Because there were Jews living there, and there was relative harmony. And the problem was when they wanted to become a demographic majority, which people didn't want to have happen because they didn't want their rights to be trampled on, which is exactly what happened. But
and facilitated by Brits like him.
Yeah,
These
exactly.
fucking British people.
Be nasty fucking dicks to us and bully us. That you're so when you don't know us, it's amazing. It's the same way that you're always just online trying to tell people who and what we are. You're clueless. You're trying to say what Zionism is and blah, blah, blah. It really is astonishing.
They live it, you fucking asshole. Yeah. They know, Palestinians know what Zionism is because their lives are shaped by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, who are you? You don't know. You live in England. I mean, you know because you're an ideologue, but you don't experience this.
Yes.
I had your confidence to be as stupid as you are.
You know what, buddy? You do.
Yeah, you do.
you have so much confidence.
You do.
Confidence being stupid in my life. I would do astonishing things, but I'm Motherlon. I do the best I can. We carry on. We endure for 2,000 years. We can go a little bit longer. So keep it coming, you fucking pricks, you mugwump twats. God bless. Baruch Hashem.
He looks like such a serial killer.
Dude, the motherfucker looks like a Benjamin Button-ass baby. He's aging fucking backwards. He's got the brains of a child. And he's just like taking his little worm face and being like, I think I'm going to be the face of British Zionism, yeah? Fucking guy.
We actually have another video of Lee Kern. Let's take a look at this other video, Brad. Wink, wink. Lee Kern
Me
video.
was writing Borat 2, yeah. I realised something.
That's Matt, everyone, in case you can't tell.
Palestinians the most racist society I've ever seen, yeah? All right, so first of all Palestinians are racist, all of them. It's in their blood, see? It's inside their blood, it's in their bones. Everything that they think and do is racist, yeah? It's in their DNA, deep down inside their DNA, right? They are inherently anti-Semitic. They say, in Israel, the Jews run the banks, the Jews run the media, the Jews run the government. I've never heard something so racist in there. They think they have a right to the land, yeah? They think because they used to live here a long time ago, they think that they could just come back. They want a right of return for all the people in the diaspora to come back to the land, yeah? I've never heard something so crazy. People from America, from Great Britain, all of a sudden living in the Middle East. Just completely ridiculous, yeah? The David Beckham fish and chips. I can't think of something so ridiculous. We got to take out Hamas. We got to take them out because they do not value civilian life. They don't value nothing, you see. They don't see a difference between a combatant and a civilian, and that's absolutely horrible. That's why we have to take out Hamas. Who's Hamas? Every man, woman, and child inside of Gaza. That's right, all of them together.
That's so, like, that point is so true that we value life. We Jews value life, and Muslims and Palestinians don't. They don't value life. They're obsessed with death. And we're enlightened and liberal and open-minded and care about civilians, which is why we have to kill all of them.
Yeah.
Including every woman and child, because they're going to grow up to be terrorists. And that's why we are enlightened and they are backwards, death-obsessed in a death cult.
It's one of the reasons why, when they talk about like dismantling Hamas, killing Hamas and whatnot, you just know that Hamas is this nebulous thing within, the kind of Zionist psyche where like there are people who are in Hamas, of course. But you ask just any Zionist about like show them an image of a dead Palestinian in Gaza, and they will say, all Israel has to do is tell me that's Hamas and I will feel nothing.
Right.
It's like it allows them, it gives them the permission to be completely heartless and genocidal because you have created this entire image in your head of like Gaza as a place that's all Hamas because they voted for them, right? You know, in 2006.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you have like Alan Dershowitz saying that they voted for them, so that they all deserve to die. It's like there were first of all, there shouldn't be the death penalty for voting a certain way.
No, that's like literally what the whole thing about like secular democracy and stuff like that.
Right.
Like you're allowed to vote for who the fuck you want.
But also half of them, like it wasn't even. Again, this doesn't even matter. But just to concede this ridiculous argument, it was like. Not a huge majority that they got.
40%.
And there were kids and people who didn't vote. I mean, just like the fact that we're even saying this is just so ludicrous.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous argument, and and it's like, and if you're going to make it, you have to also reckon with the fact that there was one election in 2006, and the majority of the people in Gaza were not alive
right.
when the election happened.
And you have to be okay with the fact that if you would have to be okay with people saying that maybe half of Americans should get killed for
Right,
voting for
exactly.
Trump.
Right.
Like-
or for Netanyahu. Maybe
Yes.
half of
Yeah.
Israel. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's
Yeah,
the
like, if
most
we're gonna-
savage, pseudo liberal
never-
enlightened shit.
They can never put it on the other foot. That's what drives
Right.
me insane. Like, how can you not put the shoe on the other foot? So, or should we blow up all of Texas
Mhm.
because Texas voted for Trump and Ken Paxton?
Right. It's why, and it's so funny because
Are
I see it a
all
lot with
Israelis responsible for every single death that happens?
Right.
Because that's what they say.
Right.
There
Yes.
are no innocent civilians in Gaza.
Exactly.
yeah.
And
By
there
that
actually
logic, there's no
are
one.
a lot more of them are actually in the military. So if you want to play that game, it's not going to end well.
Yeah.
Why do we say that too? Because they'll be like, oh, well, because of this and this and because of Hamas and October 7th. I'm like, okay, but if you want to play that game,
Right.
you could say that October 7th was a response
Of course.
to what
Yeah.
Israel has been doing to the Palestinians.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
And I mean, just Hamas has served as the perfect excuse to allow what would, I think, otherwise be a little bit more conscientious people, a little bit more moral people, to completely drop any pretense of being like moral or just, because it's that's the whole reason for their existence. Like, you ask people about like, the blockade that happened, the siege of Gaza that's been going on for 17 years, that happened after Hamas won an election, which observers said was free and fair.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's true,
Jimmy Carter did. Yeah.
yeah, but it was an actual election, and then Israel and the United States did not accept the election results. They tried to concoct they tried to do a Fatah-led coup.
Right.
The coup attempt failed, and they've done a siege ever since. Like, the siege of Gaza is justified by, well, Hamas bad. This entire
Yeah.
thing is justified based on a premise that in a democracy, you would say, oh, that sounds anti-democratic.
Right.
Like, if your whole thing is we're the only democracy in the Middle East, or
Exactly.
we're the only people who are culturally respect democracy, and then you see an election not go your way, and you decide every single voter must die or must be starved or must be, trampled under our boots, then clearly you are not as democratic of a people than you purport to be.
You're also not a democracy if you're a Jewish state.
Right. Yeah, I
Right.
know.
There's that too. But also, like, they love saying, look, we pulled out of Gaza and look what happened, as if they did that as an act of altruism.
Right.
When We
Yes.
actually know that, first of all, they control everything that goes in and out. And there's a siege.
Yes.
But also they did that. We know this from like a top advisor of then President or then Prime Minister Ariel Sharon, who said that the disengagement plan was formaldehyde for the peace process.
100%.
They did that to stop the peace process.
And not only that, but like they also used it. It was part of their Hasbara. Like, one of the biggest, like Hasbara talking points around this time was around was pieces of media of settlers being expelled from their homes. That was a highly choreographed media stunt for Israel and Israeli propaganda to show, like, look at this. And it was to rile up the people inside of Israel, inside the West Bank, and make them be more firm than ever that we are never, ever leaving this. And no, it is not a politically viable position to be like, settlers should leave the occupied territories. And, so it's like, the whole premise of Gaza as like a sovereign entity that should have, they could have had, nightclubs, and they could have had,
Gay
people
nightclubs.
taking, 2CI, getting their dick sucked,
But
like near the beach.
But if people talk about that, you'll like people get fired and like people like
Oh, yeah.
lose their job. And yet all these Zionists and stuff, nothing happens to them. If you're an outsider who didn't really know that much about this and you read it, it sounds insane.
Right. Yes.
It sounds insane.
Like conspiracy theorists, right?
100%.
Yeah,
And
but also just like crazy as in like, how is this happening? Like, and I'm speaking personally because I was very uneducated about Israel and Palestine as somebody who mostly paid attention to domestic politics, as someone who isn't either Palestinian or Jewish. I really didn't have I kind of just had what the media had, like a default favorable view of Israel.
Right.
Which, by the way, good job, Israel, because now I think you guys are monsters and you've turned me into an anti-Zionist when before I had no opinion.
What
Yeah.
changed
Anyway.
it for you? When and how did this happen?
October 7th.
Really?
Yeah, that's when I
Wow.
started to, but I've been like furiously like I feel like, guys, that I went to college for it, like since this happened. Not that I'm not saying that like, oh, I'm an expert, but I'm saying the amount of reading that I've done, the amount of books, the amount of podcasts, documentaries, just like looking, it just could like probably for weeks I did nothing but read. Just like mind blown.
That makes me so happy. That makes me so happy.
But like I had, so like as an outsider, not understanding it, I thought I wasn't reading it right. Like as you were just talking about the blockade, when I was first reading about the blockade, how they reacted to Hamas's election and putting the blockade on them, I was like, that's not right. Wait, that's not right. But they said that they disengaged. Wait a sec. Like my mind was being blown over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I was like, wait.
So was there something you saw that Israel did that was like a wake-up call for you? Because it wasn't, I assume it wasn't October 7th per se, but rather like the response to October 7th?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, when October 7th first happened, like straight up, I was like at first believing what Israel was saying. I was like, oh my gosh. And like too, I really had, as I was going through this process, like having to like deconstruct some of the propaganda I had just been taught about Arabs generally growing up post 9/11. And like basically what I had believed about Israel was Israel good. All the Arabs in Palestine hate them and want to kill them because they're Jewish. And because of the fact that like I always believed, and I understand that like Jews have been historically persecuted, it really, I feel like kind of blinded me to be able to understand what was happening in Israel, because I feared that if I questioned things that would make me anti-Semitic. And I didn't want to be like, I know that Jews are a global minority. I know that Jews have suffered, have been through the Holocaust, have been through pogroms. So I was like, oh, I don't want to like say anything, because if I do, like, that's me being like anti-Jewish. Like, I don't want to be anti-Semitic.
Right.
And so then I started like questioning after Shireen Abu Akleh was killed. I was like, wait a second, this doesn't make any sense. She was an American. She was a journalist. Like, why? And I started like reading about it, but I was very confused. I didn't understand the occupation. I didn't understand like the way that the press worked. And so I was like bothered by it, but I kind of moved on. But it was there in the back of my head. That story was in the back of my head. And then when October 7th happened, at first I was like, oh my gosh, like, did this happen because they were Jews? Like, this is horrible. Like, why would you, like, this is, and then like, I started actually like, after probably about a week or two after it happened, I was reading a lot about it. And I started reading like, Katie, your feed. Like I was looking at your feed, and I was like looking at other people that were like questioning it and talking about how like that, you know, you shouldn't be attacking like Palestinian people, Arab people, like all this stuff. And I was like, wait a second. So I first started looking at other Jewish people to see what they were saying about it. And then I found Norman Finkelstein and I started listening to him. And then I found the book, The 100 War on Palestine.
Yeah.
And I read the book.
Who we had on,
Yeah. And then I read the book, and it was just like going down a rabbit hole of like understanding. And I never, to be clear, I never thought that like all Palestinians were like Jew haters or whatever.
Right.
I thought that like Hamas just in general were created because they hated Jews, and that's what the reason why there were rocket attacks on Israel, or like, and that's not to say there aren't, you know, like I never thought like, oh, it's all Palestinians or whatever. But I think that growing up in a post 9/11 world where you're constantly told like Arab people are scary, like over and over and over again. They all want to kill you. They hate us because they hate us. They hate us because of our freedom.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you hear they're attacking Israel. They're attacking Israel. They're attacking Israel. It's like I started to have to basically unpack my own unconscious biases and be like, why did I think this?
Right.
And I think it was a combination of that post 9/11 unconscious bias coupled with my genuine care for Jewish people and being afraid that I was sending harm their way,
right,
by questioning the Netanyahu government, the state of Israel, the premise of the Zionist project. And basically, like, since then, I took, like, I don't know, 2 months and just read, listen to Palestinian people talk, listen to anti-Zionist Jews talk, and it kind of radicalized me. And so as a result, I guess now I am an anti-Semite, and Michael Rappaport hates me and thinks I'm a hoe.
Both things are being called that and being hated by Rappaport are both good signs. I mean, I saw a T-shirt the other day. Someone Jewish was wearing it. It's like, if you haven't been called anti-Semitic yet, you're not fighting hard enough for Palestine.
Yeah.
Which is obviously not saying it's anti-Semitic to do so. It's saying that you're going to be smeared by it. But
right. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel like the thing that was super mind-blowing to me too was just the amount of horror that the Palestinians have had to endure.
Yeah.
And the lying. And that's not to say like our government didn't do that. We didn't do things like that in Afghanistan. We didn't do these atrocities.
Yeah.
But I really feel like the IDF, like what I've seen,
it's next level. It is. I mean,
next
I'm not
level.
I don't want to downplay what we did, and we did attack a lot of civilian infrastructure, but there was much more effort to not kill civilians.
But there was
not sufficient, but much more than we see.
Right. Not only that, but there was also at least more of an effort to cover it up, like to pretend that we were caring about people. Like, I was blown away when I saw the IDF social media. I'm like, how is this real?
Yeah.
How is this real?
Yeah.
Like, not even fronting. Also, another thing that really struck me through learning this whole thing was that I've never been gaslit so much.
Yeah.
And I've never been told that I can't criticize something before. Like, I can shit on my own government. I can say our own military is trash and that we murdered people in Afghanistan and nobody blinks an eye. But you criticize the Israeli government and all of a sudden you're getting fired from your fucking people were like, we're going to get him fired. We're going to get him fired about me. And I was like, joke's on you, bitch. I already don't have a job. But if I did have a job, they were trying to get me fired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
No, it makes me so happy watching the amount of like every time I see someone like you, Blakeley, because when I started seeing your videos, I was very happy, and because they're very funny. But I also didn't know whether or not you're Jewish, and to me, that's not something that I care about because it's at this point. There's been enough gatekeeping, I think, around, talking about it, but, around people who aren't Jewish, who aren't Palestinian, like this idea of like, you have no right to care about any of this.
Or speak about it.
Yes. First, you must do 50 tweets about the Uyghurs before you can do one tweet about Israel. But I also, I respect it as well because, it's a different level of exposure. It's a different level of risk. I think when you're a Palestinian person or when you're an Arab person, the risk is the highest. But I also have noticed a lot more like white American people, white Christians, or, just like non-Jewish white people saying stuff about it. And to me, that takes more bravery than it does for me or Katie. I mean, I'll speak for myself. Katie, you're brave as well.
Self-loathing Jews.
You get we're called self-loathing Jews. We're called as Jews. We're called not Jewish enough. We're all of that stuff. But
capo, I get capo. Do you get capo?
All the time. Yeah, that's it's the same things over and over. But it doesn't stick as much, and so I have been like really heartened by the amount of people who since October 7th and seeing what's going on have educated themselves and done exactly what you've said. Like I feel like at this point, the writer of 100 Years War on Palestine,
Rashid Khalidi,
man, he's got a. I mean, just from a purely like point of like, he's got to be really happy about his book sales because I think everyone I know has started to read that book, and it's really great as and learning about Norman and learning about all these like people who've been talking about it, people reading Orientalism, Edward Said for the first time, and I just like it makes me feel good because also now. This niche political thing that I've been screaming about into the void feels like more understandable. Like people like get it now, and I'm like, it makes me feel.
I
like
realize
I'm
that
not
a lot of
crazy.
times they'll say, like, oh, you can't talk about this if you're not from there because they want to keep it in that propaganda bubble without a lot of people knowing about it.
Yeah.
But I did struggle with it. I mean, because I was like, oh, what can I make videos about? I want to talk about this because it's really important. And you know, when you learn something new and you get really excited, you want to share about it.
Yeah.
I was like so blown away by how much I didn't know about it that I felt compelled to share because my audience who I'm speaking to are other stupid, uneducated white Americans like myself.
Yeah.
Uneducated, didn't go to college, like did not have any of that exposure. So I'm talking to my other fellow crackers being like, you need to understand this and learn about this because you're going to be as blown away by it as I was, as I am.
Yeah.
And then also just, you know, making fun of it just because how can you not? Like, it's so absurd that it's like, and they deserve to be mocked. They deserve to be mocked. I'm sorry. There should be compensation for all three of us for having to sit through that Michael Rappaport.
100%. 100%. It's like, this is like, it's the worst lane because we have to sit through this bullshit. Like, I didn't want, for years, I was like, oh, I hope someone makes this Hasbara podcast because I would listen to it.
Yeah.
I was telling people to do it. I was like, someone do it. And no one was.
Did yourself.
And then I finally, like, was like too close to a nervous breakdown not to talk about it. And so I just started it myself. But now I'm stuck watching Lee Kern's wretched ass, just saying this racist fucking drivel. And you just have to sit there and.
That's the other thing that like really just like strikes me about this whole thing is that like it's a level of censorship that I have never seen before with any other issue.
100%. Yes.
It's a level of vitriol that I have never seen before. So-called liberals like Malcolm Nance going on and saying
God, the worst.
Openly Islamophobic things about Rashida Tlaib, openly racist Islamophobic
Also
things
lied about Jill Stein,
squad.
said she worked for like RT.
Yeah,
never took that, retracted that.
Yeah, just like crazy Islamophobic, anti-Arab, racist shit that no one seems to be like noticing or saying anything about in like mainstream discourse.
Completely.
And next level hate. Like I've gotten hate before, like on things, like when I talked about things, never to this level.
Yeah.
Never to the level that I did once I started talking about this, which between that and the censorship made me want to seek it out more because I was like, what are you bitches trying to hide?
Yeah.
Well, I want to give you one, if you had time, I want to show one more video.
Yeah.
And Blakeley, I'm especially interested in your response to this because this is one of the pinkwashing videos, one of the many pinkwashing videos. So Brad, can we play? I don't remember if I sent you two, but we have a pinkwashing video from this guy.
Not Daniel Ryan Spalding.
Yeah, Daniel Ryan Spalding. Who is he?
He's just a TikToker.
He's a TikTok guy who was like, was doing kitschy power gay stuff where he's like, I'm a power gay. And then he would say something milquetoast. But now he's like, I'm a power gay and I'll suck the IDF's dick.
Yeah, literally. He is one of the groups of people that have been picked up on TikTok by the Israeli lobbies and basically paid to do propaganda for Israel.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at what he has to say.
You're a power gay at the United Nations. You dress conservatively in a turtleneck and tweed because you have to be taken seriously. It's up to you to save the Jews.
Wait, let's rewind it. Let's start from the beginning because
Didn't that opening though remind you of Greg Gutfeld with his bad rhyming on his shitty show?
Oh my God, that's
And also, is he playing white savior for Jews right now? Because again, I want to point out this guy is not Jewish and is going to spend half of this video fetishizing Jews.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I don't mind anyone.
He was Jewish.
No, his whole thing is that he wants to. He's just like, what if I sucked a Jewish dick right in front of you, purple hair girl? And you're like, why are you mad at me? This is an Arby's. Like,
also, why do they always have purple hair?
Yes.
Update your talking points. I'm begging you.
Yes.
Yeah, seriously. That's
purple hair is just this is just anti-trans like code. That's all.
It is, but it's also very 2016.
Yeah, no, I know. These guys are like Daily Wire 2014. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think he's Jewish.
He's not Jewish.
Yeah.
He's not Jewish. He's just someone his angle is I like Jewish cock, which
Right.
is like, again,
Yeah.
I am pro that.
Yeah.
That is pretty much the only way anyone's ever been attracted to me. So I'm pro that.
Yeah.
If you see someone who's Jewish and you just have a thing for it, go forth and be happy. But like the idea of like wrapping that up into like some sort of like genocidal Zionism
I know,
is
it's
like,
so
what are
disgusting.
you doing?
Yeah, absolutely disgusting. Well, let's take a look at this video. Let's do the UN one.
Yeah.
Power gay at the Stonewall National Monument.
Well, we could do
When
that
you're-
one too. Oh.
All about equality, especially for hot Israeli guys.
Wait, let's play from the beginning because it got cut off.
When you're
Okay.
a power gay at the Stonewall National Monument, you're all about equality, especially for hot Israeli guys. Oh, hi, Eylon Levy.
Hello, Daniel Ryan Spalding.
You know, I've been to Israel so many times. I have so many hot gay Israeli friends that I've partied with in Tel Aviv. And I want to say that I love them and I want to stand up for them against anti-Semitism.
And we need everyone to stand up to anti-Semitism because hate is hate. It's a poison. It erodes society. It never ends well for societies that let it take a hold of them. And you know, Daniel Ryan, I think a lot of Jews in America right now are feeling that they're basically being forced into the closet as Jews, into hiding, because they are being made to feel afraid and ashamed of who they are as Jews, as people who love Israel, and that is never acceptable.
It's not acceptable. And
Okay,
the
can you
Jewish
pause it real
community and the
quick?
gay
This is sorry, this is a personal picadillo I have. I just want to let everyone know, Daniel Ryan Spalding is 5'8", which once again means Eylon Levy is about, I would say, 5'2", and I just want people to know that. I just think it's very important as someone who is a 6'6" Jew. I want people to know that this is a very little man talking. Please continue.
Sure.
Not that
We
there's
have
anything wrong with
been
that.
inextricably linked for decades. Elizabeth Taylor, a Jewish lady, was the only person to stand up and speak out for HIV and AIDS awareness in the 80s. Harvey
correct.
Milk was Jewish. We have an obligation as gay people to stand up against all forms of prejudice, and that includes anti-Semitism.
Except for Arab
Thank you,
prejudice.
Daniel Ryan Spalding. You've done more than most Jewish celebrities to speak up for the Jewish community here in America.
Well, what can I say? I'm not some weak-kneed Jew. I'm a power gay, and my knees are built just fine. Stop it.
And that guy, Eylon, is a serial liar. He lied about the shooting.
He's the Goebbels of
He
you
is,
know,
yeah.
the Goebbels of Israel.
Yeah.
Like he is their chief propagandist
He
or the
really
face of the propaganda. And he's called it anti-Semitic every time someone points that
Yeah.
out. They're like,
Yeah.
how dare you
Literally.
compare me?
But as I've explained on Twitter, it's not because you're Jewish. It's because you're Nazi.
It's because you
Don't-
are a
don't
Nazi
worry.
propagandist.
Don't
you
worry,
are
no one cares that you're
you
Jewish.
are a genocidal propagandist. You're doing propaganda for a genocide. Goebbels is just the most famous one.
Right. Yeah, you should be flattered. It actually requires a suspension of anti-Semitism to be able to compare a Jew to a Nazi.
Yeah.
If you were
Listen,
anti-Semitic,
it's
you wouldn't
actually-
be able to see that comparison.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, it's that guy, especially while he's sitting there talking about, you know, like, oh, we're so free and we love this and that. I find it so vile that they're
Yes.
just continually comparing the struggle of just whether it's gay rights, racism, fighting back against hate with anti-Semitism and Israel and Zionism. It's like you saying people should stand up against anti-Semitism and hate in all of its forms, but conflating your disgusting genocidal Zionism with anti-Semitism is just so disgusting. And then trying to make it all cute by like talking about, I don't know, blowjobs with this psychotic propagandist. It's just like
it's the most white gay man thing too, because like if you watch any of his other videos, filled with misogyny, filled with this kind of like, again, it's a very similar type of victim complex where you've got this inverted narrative in which like, because gay men in America are an oppressed class. I mean, gay people in general are, but we're talking gay white men.
Right.
It's a very specific type of, in the freaking hierarchy of, the gays.
Yeah.
And just like this idea that he's like going to appropriate the entire struggle when there are tons of white gay fascist misogynists.
Right.
Like this is not he's not breaking any new ground here. So it's it's very similar.
And trying
we have to
Harvey Milk.
I know Harvey Milk and Elizabeth Taylor. That's the best that you can do. Someone who converted after like a plane crash or something.
Also, I'm sorry, but Jews are in the closet. This idea of like all Jews are in a way kind of gay.
Which
like, what are you doing?
Which again infuriates me because of the amount they're talking about. They're conflating anti-Semitism with Zionism, but then also they keep saying we stand up against hate in all of its forms as they continually dehumanize Arab people.
Yes.
Every single day. The most vile shit that they say about them. They conflate them constantly with Hamas. They say, that it doesn't matter. There are no innocent civilians.
Yeah. Or like they have no choice. They lie about the human shields. And then as if they have no choice, like, well, a non-sociopath would say, well, because of that, we can't bomb these people because they're
right. Let's treat them like we would if there were people inside our territory.
But even when you do that, then they take the mask off and they'll go, oh, well, all of the Palestinians support Hamas.
Right. Yeah. So then it's like
grow up to be terrorists. Yeah.
It's
right.
a free,
which even
free
if they did, it's just so stupid. Even if they did, like, I'm sorry, grow the fuck up. People have to deal with governments that they don't like all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Second of all, you're stupid if you think that this is not going to create an entire new generation of Hamas.
Yeah.
Which
they're not stupid.
Yeah,
And
they know.
Yes.
Yeah.
That guy's unreal. Wait, I wanted to see the end of the other one where he's talking about dicks.
All right, let's show the UN one.
Our gay at the United Nations, you dress conservatively in a turtleneck and tweed because you have to be taken seriously. It's up to you to save the Jews. But apparently, I'm not an advocate against anti-Semitism because I'm a good person and care about my Jewish friends. No. According to the purple-haired girls, I'm just pinkwashing. Pinkwashing. Another way to say your gay opinion doesn't matter. Listen up, hot gay guys. It's up to us to stand up to these purple-haired girls, or else next year, you're not going to Tel Aviv Pride. And that's fine by me. I'll enjoy all that Israeli cock by myself. Muscle dick, hardcore Jewish dick, IDF dick. I'm gonna get so much Jewish jizz, it'll be like I'm floating in the Dead Sea. I'm gonna spend my pride with the hottest gay guys in the world, sucking dick and eating hummus.
Just a stream
and you're
of
gonna be
consciousness.
stuck with a
Tell
bunch
this
of
to your
20-year-olds in
therapist,
slumpy sweaters doing spoken word poetry about colonialism. Enjoy. Hashtag pinkwashing.
There's just so much rage. The thing is like the videos he makes, I've never seen a more clearly mad guy.
Yeah.
It's like he just got into an argument with someone and he's like,
yeah.
And then he makes a video and it's like, I can see your blood pressure, bro.
Right. Kind of like Michael Rappaport. Just
Yeah. But he has the decency to be mad in
openly.
public.
Right.
Openly.
Mad.
Yeah, and with lots of fucking. But the thing about this guy too, like I said, that drives me crazy, is that he's literally going in detail about wanting people to jizz on his face. And if that were anyone else, their shit would be taken down. They would be banned.
Yeah.
But these people just like go on and on and on. This guy like I'm like, wait, what?
Yes. Meanwhile, I am like shadow banned on TikTok. Like I can't make a video anymore for TikTok because they all like they just all are like 1,000 views or something like that. And when I started making these videos, they were taking off, and I was like, cool. And now, Borat talked to the main guy, and he said, no, anti-Zionism. But like, listen, it's just like this lane of pinkwashing is so inaccessible that you just kind of go like I literally don't know who this is for. Like, I don't know who is being convinced by this. Audience. It's for a segment of people in Tel Aviv who are like, yes, thank you. And that's it. And it's like, listen, you have your audience and stuff, but this just seems like something you talk to your therapist about. You know?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right.
He wants to drown in jizz. Like I get it.
Seriously. Yeah. Yeah. We've all been there. We've
all been there. Listen, I
don't make that into Hasbara.
Yeah. You know,
Not to be sex negative or anything.
No, listen, go for it. Live your truth.
Go for the Dead Sea of Jizz, but
but if part of your truth is just like being openly genocidal towards a group of people,
that's the problem that I'm not positive about.
Yeah, it's just like you know.
First of all, that is it. That's what people need to understand. Who among us doesn't like Jewish dick? We all do. We've all been there.
Yeah.
But
hell yeah.
But when you're using that as a pretext for your genocide,
right.
Yeah,
that's not the way you're supposed to be using Jewish dick.
Which again goes back to the pink washing. I am so tired of these lunatics doing things like, look at that IOF soldier. Look at what a queen she is. As they tie up innocent Palestinian men.
Yeah.
Yes, queen.
Yes. It's
wear the lingerie, Palestinian women's lingerie.
Yes. Yeah. And then you call it out and they're like, wow, kink shame much? And it's like, what are you for?
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know if this is for people in Tel Aviv to kind of feel better about the genocide, or if it's for white liberals in America.
I think it's aimed towards white liberals, but I mean, you know, white liberals, by and large, I'm sure they will fall for it because at the end of the day, they're liberals and that's what they do. They fall for words. But like, you know, I just can't imagine how effective it is when it's at this point so dystopian. Like there's a level of dystopian where you're just like, no amount of like cutesy gay friendly genocide is going to stop me from like crying when I see a dead baby. You know what I mean? Right. Like at some point you do have to just hide. And I have been seeing more and more people delete their post October 7th tweets and or IG posts, and I'm going to make a little episode about that.
Nice.
Bad Hasbara.
I hope we have screenshots.
We have screenshots. Yeah. Me and a former guest of my other podcast is going to come on. We're going to talk about that because it's like the shit that people were writing was insane, and the shit that people are deleting makes me. It's like the end of Inglourious Bastards where I'm like, no, you're living with this. Right. You're fucking living with this.
Shout out to Anat Schwartz.
Yeah.
Seriously. That's what I was thinking, And unfortunately, it's too bad that Quentin Tarantino's shit on this issue.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah,
but
he's I think he's married to an Israeli.
Yeah. Oh, God. So I think,
don't quote me on that, but I believe.
I just hope that Tom York, you know, I don't know. I feel like Radiohead's bad on this issue too, and I just like
it's okay. It's everybody that you thought that you liked. Okay, I saw that Timothy Chalamet apparently is a Zionist, which was
but we got to verify because there's a lot of things going around that.
Sometimes people just say stuff, and I want to.
I saw a video of all these celebrities, and some of them were incorrect. So.
Yeah. Oh, I think I know what you're referring to. Yeah. It was like a slide, like a TikTok slide.
Yeah. Well, Brad wants to say something. It's time for Brad to show a very short video that he created for occasions like these.
Oh my God.
That's so great.
Brad, I need
You're a terrible person. That's really great.
Do you work freelance or on commission? Because I'm going to need you to make some shit.
Absolutely. But I just wanted to add, I got this on my birthday. It was a very wonderful birthday present. He got the message.
Yeah. So Eylon tweeted out a screenshot of that, or someone actually posted this video without crediting you, Brad, or the Katie Halper show. So I had to correct him. But it got out there, and then Eylon Levy wrote, "I love the fact that someone went to the effort of making this, giving it to my siblings as a new favorite gift for the family WhatsApp group."
To which I am of the opinion this got under his skin.
Oh, he's so mad about it.
There's no way he would have written that if it didn't bother him.
In my family group chat, do you share in between sharing massacred photos?
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, ran over.
Yeah.
Sometimes I miss the gift. The group chat is mostly just women's fucking underwear from Gaza.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I love that. I think it's hilarious. I actually saw it. I didn't realize that you made it or that had anything to do with the show. No, because you weren't credited. I just saw it. Somebody had posted it and it cracked me up.
Yeah.
You know, now I get why Lee Kern put his name at the end of that
Yeah,
shitty
exactly.
sketch.
Now we understand. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I
and
can't
there-
believe how many people were on. I still
I
cannot
know.
believe how many people were on
Well,
there.
again, you don't just step into that. You don't step in it. You know, that requires a lot of talent, coordination, a lot
Absolutely.
of
And
writes,
someone-
drafts, rewrites,
And someone, yes, and someone,
prop work for the shit.
Yeah.
and somebody told Michael Rappaport that he's funny.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Listen,
so,
I you know, I'm gonna be honest, full disclosure here. I have featured for Michael Rappaport at 2 comedy clubs in the past. Like, this was obviously before all this.
Right.
And this is back when his thing was just calling people Dick Stain Donald Trump. And you know, like, working with him, I was like, oh, cool, it's the guy from Boston Public. And you know, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know you were like a comedian or whatnot. And he kind of just started doing it, you know, recently. And you know, it showed. But I will say that the funniest moment was at the Sacramento Punchline, the very last show. He had his first heckler.
Oh.
And I've never seen a man crumble
wow.
as much as he was shocked that someone would talk during his set. And he was
Lose self-confidence.
it was like a level of like overconfidence where I was just like, oh yeah, no, that's part you'll learn that. Well, you would have learned it if you had ever started stand up as not already a famous person.
Right.
I put famous in big quotes, but you know,
Yeah,
and
we're using famous loosely here.
very loosely. But yeah, so like when he started going insane with all this stuff, you know, at first I was like, you know, I was like, I'm not touching that yet. I felt a little bit of like this is someone who I've worked with in the past. We'll see where it goes. He seemed like he might be not a dumb piece of shit. And then recently, the only time he's tweeted at me was he just he called me Clownzo.
Oh my God.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
funny.
and I was just like, what do you... Was that like Bozo the Clown? You wanted to make it one word? And at that point, I realized, I was like, all right, game on. Fuck him.
Yeah. Well, and it showed when he doesn't have someone providing the script or ideas, and even though those were bad, but when that's not even there, that's when you get that, I hesitate to call it a song.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but like that's...
I wish there were credits for that one, too.
I know.
Yeah.
Those people were robbed. They were robbed.
It's like the end of The Matrix. You're like, why is this 25 minutes?
Well, do you want to see what Rappaport tweeted about me besides coming in my mentions with the shit, with the Hamas shit thing?
Yeah.
I'll do a screen share of this. I was looking for that tweet today, so I did Michael Rappaport. I did a Twitter search, like at Michael Rappaport / KT Helps, and this is what came up. Hold on. Now, okay, so he tweeted this. I wrote, Brianna Wu and Michael Rappaport are such great unintentional spokespeople for anti-Zionism. Thank you for your accidental service. And then he tweeted this out as if, I guess the idea is like, I don't mean to sound vain, but I guess it's just like, look at this girl, this ugly bitch and her dog. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be. Because like, he just...
Wait, hold on. How many... Can you scroll down to the hearts? He got nothing on that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Let's see. Abby Martin, imagine thinking this is an own you Neanderthal. Look at those cuties, making me love Kate even more. OMFG, you're stupid, lol. Yeah, this is funny, which I'm not above admitting I like. Yeah, she's pretty, and you're a guy who got arrested multiple times for stalking and terrorizing his ex. What's your point?
This one.
Katie's still waiting
legit,
for you to host the great debate.
Yeah.
Michael Rappaport versus Norman Finkelstein. Make it happen.
What
What am I missing? Can I see what? Yeah.
Michael legit was like, I want to debate Norman Finkelstein.
Okay.
Ooh, let him.
Yeah,
this is exactly what I meant when I said the nerve and the delusion has got to be tweeting out about your appearance, talking about that was meant to be like, oh yeah, look at your photo.
At you. And the thing is,
it's a nice photo.
Bodhi is so cute, my parents' dog, but also like there are a lot of unflattering. There are pictures that if he did that too, I'm not gonna lie, I look terrible and I'd be so upset. That one is just like it's nice enough for me to think it should be my Twitter pic.
Yeah, right. Right.
No, I'm totally with you. I
don't mean it sounds like I'm being like, please tell me how pretty I look in that picture.
No,
I just mean
no.
like, there's a lot of unflattering, like you grab me on this show, you can grab an ugly thing. Like just do a little, but again, it's that confidence.
But
that
usually when people do that, they pick a photo like that where it's like you don't even need to comment, you just post it and it speaks for itself.
Right.
This one, it was a totally nice photo.
Okay, but that also goes to again how fucking stupid he is and not funny he is. Is that yes, that is like an objectively good photo of you. So if he was going to do that, then he should have tried to go, I don't know, find a photo of you making a wacky face during a podcast.
Yeah.
No,
but he's like, oh yeah, here's your profile picture.
No,
these people are such goons that someone actually did a thing of that and like, look at Katie Halper, nobody wants me, so I have to have a dog. And then I was like, my dog is cuter. Like the guy was like so unattractive. I was like,
nobody wants me, so I have to have a dog is just the saddest read on pet ownership I've ever seen.
It really is. I know, it really is.
It's like,
I feel so bad for the dogs in his life. But so then I was like, she's like, no one wants me, so I have to get a Shih Tzu. And I was like, she's actually lost Apsa and she's cuter than you. And then he tweets like, she looks like she just got pulled out of the rubble in Gaza, which is just like,
oh my God.
Who? Like, I was like, you're such a, I mean, I'm not surprised because these people are genocidal.
Oh, yeah, they don't care.
Like, and then he had like a smiley, you know, one of those, haha, like I made it like crying at my own joke.
Right.
But like, and he was some weird Canadian racist, but like, I was just like, you are such a monster. You're making fun of a cute little dog. And even with then, there are lots of photos of Bodhi where she looks like a hot mess. And she, you know, you can make fun of that, but she looks very cute in that photo.
He was posting that picture not, not because, you looked bad in it, but it's because he hates women.
Yeah, I guess.
And he was just like, you're a woman.
Right.
Yeah,
that was like, oh yeah? Look at this picture of this female.
Yeah, that's literally
Is
it.
the dog a girl?
Yeah.
Two bitches in one?
Yes,
Yeah.
That's...
And I just wanted to leave you guys with, there's a 10 seconds that palate cleanser from all of the bullshit we've been watching
I love
here.
the palate cleanser.
It's not new to you, I'm sure, but...
You know, this whole crap with this cancel culture and the...
Shut up! Shit! Shut the fuck up! Nobody wants to hear it. Fucker. You've been talking all fucking week. You don't care what you have to say, just stop talking.
You got me right in my fucking head, asshole.
Stop.
Damn it.
That guy deserves a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah,
Yes,
someone told me that was like planned or staged. Or
really? Oh, really?
No, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know
Okay.
because people on Twitter say
He
shit
should
all
get
the
like
time.
whoever did that should be given Palestinian citizenship.
No, but like that video actually made me really happy.
Yeah.
Like
Me
so
too.
happy when I first saw it. I was like, you know what? I don't even care if it was.
Yeah,
because-
it feels better to live with like,
Absolutely.
even if he did make it, it's nice to just see him get hit with something.
Yes,
And, it's
exactly.
like, you just live with the fantasy. It's like, I don't care that Pete and Boz is probably fake. I don't know if you guys know the old drill rappers from the UK, Pete and Boz, who are, they're fantastic. I think it's not real, but I don't care. I live with the fantasy. Shout out to Pete and Boz out there from Palestine.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me on, Katie.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you so much, Blakely and Matt. And definitely come back. This was so much fun.
This was fun. Thank you for having me.
Really fun. Thank you for having me. And if you want more, listen to Bad Hasbara, the world's most moral podcast.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. And Katie, we're gonna have you on soon.
Oh, great.
And
I love that.
we're going to also have you on the Pod Yourself the Wire too.
Nice. All right.
Yes, that's.
Can we make fun of the bad accents?
Oh, that's mostly what we do.
Okay, yeah.
No one can
Stringer
get it
Bell
right.
is good though. Stringer Bell is good.
Yeah, he did.
accent's
I mean,
good,
he didn't do a regional accent. He just did like a generic black guy accent.
right.
But he, at the very least, I didn't know he was British.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Whereas
what I mean,
Dominic
yeah.
West as McNulty,
I know.
you were like, "What's
Yeah,
going
okay,
on, bro?"
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm
but,
gonna find both of those and listen to them. And
Yeah.
you can find me that little screen name on both Twitter and Instagram, on YouTube and on TikTok. It's that, but without the underscore. It's just I am Blakely.
Okay.
But yeah, I would love to do this again sometimes, you guys. It was very
definitely.
fun. Thank you again for having me on.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you,
free
guys.
Palestine.
Yeah,
Free Palestine. Love all y'all. Sacramento, March 17th. Come out, please, please. Don't make my last memory be with Michael Rappaport. Sacramento Punch. All right, bye.
Bye. All right, I'm gonna read the super chats, and then we're gonna go and bring on Dr. Cornel West. So let's see. Tracy McMillan became a YouTube member. Thank you, Tracy. Stephen Thurdle became a YouTube member. Thank you, Stephen. Michelle Carpenter. I appreciate what y'all do so much. I've been working with incredible organizers in KC. Some have lost much family and are so inspiring. How can I get them in touch with you? They should be heard. Write me on Patreon. You can just respond to a Patreon post. If you're not Patreon, it doesn't matter. Just find a free post you can respond to. Would you say Michael's a useful idiot? Yes. Saying pale blue eyes Jews belong to the Middle East is like saying Jesus is pale with blue eyes. Thank you, Sprinkle, for gifting Katie Halper show memberships. And thank you, by the way, Brad and Tyler and Phantom is Fanta. And of course, thank you to the great guests. If you haven't already liked the stream, where are we on likes, Brad? You're going to come on and tell me, or like text it to me, or?
Sorry.
Okay.
We are at somewhere around 1,000, which is, I think, pretty darn good.
Pretty good. Yeah. Pretty good. Thanks, guys. Keep it up. I mean, if you haven't liked it already, please do. Don't double like. That cancels it. So I am going to bring on, without any further ado, I'm going to be speaking to philosopher, author, civil rights activist, and Dietrich Bonhoeffer Professor of Philosophy and Christian Practice at Union Theological Seminary, and of course, presidential candidate, Cornel West. Thank you so much, Dr. West, for joining the show again.
Well, my dear sister, it's always a blessing and joy to be in dialogue and conversation with you.
Thank you. I want to start off talking about the genocide in Gaza. And of course, Kamala Harris recently got some, I would say, undeserved credit for appearing to call for a ceasefire. She made this announcement at the Edmund Pettus Bridge. So I'm just going to show you a clip of her and then ask you to react to her.
And given the immense scale of suffering in Gaza, there must be an immediate ceasefire. For at least the next 6 weeks, which is what is currently on the table. This will get the hostages out and get a significant amount of aid in. This would allow us to build something more enduring, to ensure Israel is secure, and to respect the right of the Palestinian people to dignity, freedom, and self-determination.
So it sounds good, but I wanted to know your thoughts on this and the fact that she is announcing really a pause.
Right. Well, you know, first thing that hit me, my dear sister, was that the Biden administration does not have an ounce of morality. It does not have a dose of integrity. That we've got nearly 30,000 precious folk killed, nearly 14,000 precious Palestinian babies murdered. And now they want to come out and talk about the scope of the devastation. You see, this is typical garden variety political lingo, given the pressures that they're beginning to feel, no ethical motivations whatsoever. They continue to enable a genocide and going to drop food in, enable a genocide and stand there on ground consecrated by Black freedom fighters who were crushed by cowardly white supremacists. That's where she makes that statement. They sacrificing everything. She and Biden, and not just her and Biden, but it's Austin. We can go right down the list. Kirby, it's Sullivan, it's Greenfield. All of these folk have been enabling one of the most barbaric genocides that we know, and now they want to act like they received some moral prize for calling for a ceasefire. Please, it's pathetic. It really is. It's pathetic. And we have to just keep it in the right context and understanding the level of mendacity, the level of manipulation of words, while precious human beings are being crushed this very moment, genocide in real time. Please, Sister Harris, get off of your soapbox where you're acting like you Fannie Lou Hamer when you nothing but an agent of the American empire. Please. That was my response to it. I was very upset about it. I remain upset about it, you know?
And yes, and there's an article, actually, a Politico. The headline is Harris's ceasefire remarks were aimed at Hamas. And it says Vice President Kamala Harris's call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza this weekend has been widely touted as her getting tougher on Israel, especially in clips on cable news and social media. But it's clear from either watching or reading her full comments that Hamas was the main target of her Sunday remarks in Alabama. And what she said was the threat Hamas poses to the people of Israel must be eliminated. Given the immense scale of suffering, there must be an immediate ceasefire. And then, of course, she cynically, I would say, paused so people could clip it there, and goes on for at least the next 6 weeks, which is what is currently on the table. Hamas says it claims it wants a ceasefire. Well, there is a deal on the table. And as we've said, Hamas needs to agree to that deal. And then John Kirby, who you just referred to, National Security Council spokesperson, told reporters today that there's no daylight between Harris and President Joe Biden's position that there should be a 6-week ceasefire. And he said Israel has put forward a forward-leaning offer. Yes, she was definitely communicating to Hamas that they need to accept this deal. And Harris told reporters that the president and I have been aligned and consistent from the very beginning. So it's not even what she's claiming to be calling for.
No, it's true. But what the problem is, again, though, you know, you got all of these war criminals trying to act as if they've got some kind of moral sensibility. They know they've been enabling this genocide. They know they've been enabling this ethnic cleansing. They know they are responsible. They have blood on their hands when it comes to the death of thousands and thousands of innocent Palestinians, especially Palestinian children. So it shifts to a strategic and tactical level. It's not at the moral level. It's not at the spiritual level. That's what's upsetting about Selma. See, Selma was not strategic and tactical and some kind of check on what my deepest convictions are after I check what the polls are. That's Biden. That's Harris. That's what's going on in Washington. No, Selma was about Black people who hated, terrorized, traumatized, straighten their backs up, willing to fight. Some of them almost killed, like Brother John Lewis. Now, John Lewis later on is going to make his move toward neoliberalism. We won't get into that, but he was taking his stand. So you see again how the Biden administration just tries to hijack Black folk. Same is true with Martin Luther King Jr.'s founding of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference to redeem the soul of the nation. What does Biden do? That's my slogan, to redeem the soul of a nation. Martin Luther King Jr., James Lawson, Diane Nash versus Biden and Harris. Oh my God, that's like Aretha Franklin versus some junior high singer in a choir or something, you see. But they try to pose and posture as if they can get away with their pathetic formulations. And no, the veil has been ripped off of not just the Biden administration, but the American empire. I mean, the American empire is in deep decay. Most empires begin to really dissolve when they have moments of such violence that the bare reality, the raw power that they have is exposed to the world, exposed to their own citizens. I think one of the audiences of Sister Harris was really Michigan, 100 and some thousand folk in Michigan, not all, you know, precious Arabs and Muslims. You had a number of white students, Black students, brown students. You had slices of the working class, significant numbers of women of different colors. This electoral strategy, back to the strategic again, ain't got nothing to do with the precious humanity of Palestinians. It was just a few weeks ago, Sister Harris was saying, no conditions whatsoever. We support whatever Israel does. No conditions whatsoever. She was speaking her heart there. Right. And that's what she was honest, very much so, because that's where that's where she is. That's where Biden is. That's where Austin is. Austin, and it's interesting where, you know, he's got a little bit of ambivalence every once in a while, but in the end, boom, he comes down right with the empire and knows he's wrong, knows that history is going to reveal them as the enabling of not just war crimes, not just crimes against humanity, but crimes of genocide. Now that is more the perspective of Selma, Alabama. You see, the folk who marched in Selma in 65, and I know your beloved mother down there in SNCC with her courageous visionary self and artistic sensibility. You see, everybody knew, you know, when Reverend Heschel went down there, what was he told? You gonna die, man. Sylvie, his blessed wife, she was told, your husband's gonna die. Susanna, your father's gonna die. And what did Heschel do? I'm going down anyway. You see, this is qualitatively different than anything you could get out of the Biden administration in regard to not just Gaza, but the same thing is true with Wall Street, same thing is true with mass incarceration, same thing is true with poverty, same thing is true with ecological crisis. You can see this kind of posing and posturing across the board. And we have to call it for what it is. And I'm glad you and Brother Aaron and the others have been doing that. I mean, you got, you know, Brother Tim Black. I mean, it's a whole little group of y'all doing a very good job. Just Amy and the others. It's wonderful.
I wanted to ask you about your comments, very moving comments about Aaron Bushnell. I wanted to play something that you said, and people were amazed that this got on CNN. I mean, every time that you're on CNN, I think people are amazed that they let you say the stuff that you say, just because it's so critical of empire. But here, let's play this clip of you on Dana Bash talking about Aaron Bushnell, who, of course, self-immolated in protest of the genocide in Gaza.
Well, we shall see, but I mean, part of the problem is we can't reduce what's going on in Gaza to some kind of electoral-political strategy. I mean, we've seen the example of our dear brother Aaron Bushnell. When he set himself on fire and killed himself, what was he saying? These are moral issues and moral causes. These are not just brands and strategies and tactics. And as you know, Sister Dana, so much American politics is about strategy and tactic. These are deeply moral and spiritual issues having to do with arbitrary power being used. And when I hear Sister Rashida say, well, Biden is not hearing us, no, Biden is enabling the killing of us. That's what's taking place here. And so you can imagine it, my Arab brothers and sisters in Dearborn and other places are saying, we're not just pieces to be moved on a chessboard. These are our families. This is mama and daddy. This is grandmama and granddaddy. It reminds me in some ways of the rabbis who marched in the early 40s, led by the great Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, and FDR wouldn't even come out of the White House. He sent Henry Wallace, and those rabbis were sitting there saying, look, massacres are taking place, war crimes are taking place, crimes against humanity, genocide is taking place. What did the White House do in the early 40s? Nothing at all, hardly. Why? Because it was an electoral-political issue. The Jewish vote didn't mean X. The Jewish vote didn't mean Y. These are human beings, and America is enabling the killing of them. So it is now in 2024. Where is the space for truth, justice, love in a moment of electoral politics and barbarity? That's the question.
So I wanted to ask you about the tradition of self-immolation, which is something I think a lot of people don't know about.
Well, I mean, I usually go back in the history of the West to Cato the Younger, of course, who killed himself, but he stabbed himself as he saw Julius Caesar beginning to not just take over, but become hegemonic. The Roman Empire and the Roman Republic was going under. Now, of course, you know, Cato's no serious progressive. You got Spartacus and the others who bringing critique to bear on him, given these slaves oppressed in the Roman Republic itself. But Cato himself, I mean, they got a major statue of Cato in the Louvre, you know, and he's reading about Socrates' suicide, drinking of the hemlock. There's a long tradition of people who pay the ultimate price by killing themselves in order to bring attention to a higher cause. It could be a suffering of a people. It could be a particular issue. And that is a noble thing. And you bear witness, and sometimes bearing witness takes the form of martyrdom. And so that's crucial. Like the very beginning of Franz Rosenzweig's great The Star of Redemption. He begins with witness. He comes out of biblical Hebrew scripture. Witness as a thinker, as one in solidarity with oppressed people. And you may pay the ultimate price. And sometimes it's a form of taking your life. Sometimes it's a form of the state taking your life. Sometimes it's a form of vigilantes taking your life, but you pay the ultimate price. But usually, you see, the people I've been, as you know, intensely attacked by, even associating my dear brother Aaron Bushnell with martyrdom. But I remain convinced that he was a martyr. Usually, those who are saying what they're saying about me are so thoroughly indifferent to the suffering he's trying to bring our attention to. And so,
or worse than indifferent in some cases.
Well, they're actually enabling and promoting. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. See, Brother Dershowitz and all these other folk who are just providing cover for genocide, providing rationalization for ethnic cleansing, and then say this man has nothing to do with being a martyr. Well, who are your martyrs? Soldiers in the IDF? Who are your martyrs? Tell me who your martyrs are. You could almost say, tell me who your martyrs are. And I could find out a whole lot about who you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, even as a Christian, did Jesus really commit a certain kind of self-suicide? Well, it's certainly God committed a kind of deicide from a theological point of view, to come into such a cold and cruel world and be willing to die so that God becomes not a king on a throne, but a servant of poor people, and put to death by the Roman Empire for running out the money changers of a temple, the largest edifice east of Rome, with 300 Roman imperial troops protecting that temple. When you go in anyway and turn the tables over in the name of the poor, not out of hating the rich, but hating greed, hating oppression, hating injustice. Is that a martyr? Yes, it is. Was Peter a martyr? Yes, he was. Now, Aaron, I'm not saying is anywhere near Jesus. None of us are near Jesus. As a Christian, I got my own biases about this thing, But certainly he will be remembered as somebody who paid the ultimate price based on his commitment to a cause and this attempt to reduce his action to some kind of psychological imbalance or moral illness and so forth. No, we've got to begin with the sociopaths and the psychopaths who themselves continually engage in massive massacring of children and human beings. What kind of human being does that? They're the ones who ought to be the primary subject matter of any kind of serious psychological analysis, let alone their role in an imperial system, let alone their role in a predatory capitalist system, let alone their role in a patriarchal system, and last but not least, their role in a deeply racist system. Because you and I know that if Palestinians were doing to Jews what Israelis are doing to Palestinians, Biden and Harris would support the Jewish version of Hamas. They would be looking for funds. They would support those freedom fighters who were resisting against Palestinian occupation and Palestinian domination. But you flip it over, and lo and behold, it's anything it wants without accountability. And when it reaches the point where it looks like we might lose an election, we're going to drop some food. Even though we allow the bombs, we give them more money, we give them more bombs. It's the level of contradiction, hypocrisy, incongruity, unbelievable cruelty.
While there are food trucks waiting to get in. Sorry,
exactly.
That's the thing. If we wanted to use, it would just require political pressure. I've spoken to Craig McIver, who's that very courageous former UN official, human rights lawyer who resigned over the UN's failure to protect Palestinians. And he said that, the airdrops are just a fig leaf, and the human rights community doesn't take it seriously. They think it's a lie because there are all these trucks waiting to be let in. And the issue is Israel's not letting them in. And I wanted to ask you more about your kind of moral framing of the of Hamas. But before we get to that, I just wanted to share your tweet about Aaron Bushnell, which was, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but considered controversial by some, although I don't see why. But you wrote, "Let us never forget the extraordinary courage and commitment of brother Aaron Bushnell, who died for truth and justice. I pray for his precious loved ones. Let us rededicate ourselves to genuine solidarity with Palestinians undergoing genocidal attacks in real time. Hashtag Aaron Bushnell, hashtag Free Palestine." And you were asked by Piers Morgan, whose show you went on the other day, and I just wanted to show a short clip from that because I thought you had some very powerful words there.
Okay, I just want to read you what Ben Shapiro said about your tweet, though, about Aaron Bushnell. He said, "Our political environment is facilitating dangerous insanity. It is easy enough for people like Cornel West to celebrate the pseudo-heroism of disturbed people lighting themselves on fire, but both the mentally disturbed and our society pay the price for such celebration." I mean, he has a point, doesn't he? You wouldn't want other people to go and set fire to themselves and kill themselves like he did, would you?
Brother, I have deep libertarian sensibilities. I believe that people make choices and they have to take responsibilities. They make decisions, they have to deal with the consequences. I do not promote people killing themselves, not at all. But people do a number of different things. I would want to ask Brother Shapiro. He's talking about there's heroes in the Israeli Defense Forces, many of whom are killing innocent children. Do I think that's sick? Yes, that is morally bankrupt. It is spiritually empty. It is ethically vacuous. I come right back at Shapiro. Your heroes happen to be engaged in terrorist activity against Palestinians. And he's going to say, Aaron's not a hero. Aaron is a particular person who exercised a certain kind of witness and ended up taking the form of killing himself in order not to bring attention to himself, but to try to give some sense of urgency for a genocide.
Do you believe Aaron Bushnell?
That's what Brother Shapiro doesn't want to focus on.
Do you believe
Shapiro still wants to hide his indifference to the suffering of Palestinians in the form of attacking?
Okay, let me ask you.
How cowardly can you get, my brother?
Do you believe that Aaron Bushnell is a martyr?
Well, martyr and witness really have the same root, as you know, in the Greek. And martyr means someone who pays an ultimate cost tied to a higher cause. I believe trying to bring attention to genocide and bring genocide to a close is a higher cause. And I believe that his actions was trying to bring attention to that higher cause. So yes, he is a martyr. Absolutely.
Dr. West, always good to talk to you.
I love that clip because it's great to watch you in real time go through the steps of determining whether he was a martyr, because you kind of broke it down. You were obviously didn't have it like pre-worked out, and then you just figured out, well, let's see, what was he doing? What does martyrdom mean? What does witness mean? Yeah.
You are absolutely right about that. You are absolutely right. See, that's part of your artistic sensibility as a great comic artist, that right on the spot, instantaneously trying to work something through, and people can see it. Almost they can see it process in your heart, mind, and soul. And you come out, and when you come out, you say what you mean, and you mean what you say. You know what I mean? Again, you're not posing, posturing some kind of formula or some kind of algorithm. You're in process of working and thinking it out.
Right. And I loved what you said about Ben Shapiro. Going back to what you were saying about show me your heroes, and I'll, if you show me your heroes, you're showing me yourself, paraphrasing what you said earlier. But as you said, these people are, I would say, more than indifferent. I mean, I think some of them actually revel in the genocide and destruction. So their moral compasses are totally off. So it's actually, in some ways, refreshing or a good sign when you're being smeared by them, because you certainly wouldn't want to be praised by them.
That's so. I mean, you think of just the level of blindness when you say, well, Brother West is promoting and unleashing an authorization of violence because of his characterization of Brother Aaron. And we got genocide in real time taking place, and they can't say a mumbling word about it other than supporting it, other than justifying it, other than rationalize. Can't say a word against it. And yet I become the promoter of violence. It's like, oh my God, that's just sheer pathology.
Yeah. another clip that you had with Piers Morgan, and Piers Morgan loves to ask people if they'll condemn Hamas, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. And here's a clip of you asking Piers Morgan to answer a question, yes or no. Let's see how that goes.
Well, they've emerged. I mean, look, let's be clear. Let's be clear. They've
And this is Piers Morgan talking about Hamas when he says they.
emerged as a terrorist organization committing acts of mass terrorism. I mean, that's what they are.
No, Hamas is a counter-terrorist group responding to the terrorism of the IDF and responding to the terrorism of the Israeli state. A counter-terrorist group can commit war crimes, brother, but they didn't initiate it at all. If they're founded in 1988 and the terrorism began in 1948 with the state of Israel, that's 40 whole years.
Yeah,
and let's keep in mind.
Yeah, I think it's a stretch to call them counter. I think it's a stretch with respect.
Undermine the PLO, undermine secular nationalism, promote fundamentalist Islam as a way of dividing Palestinians. That's why Netanyahu allowed for Gaza, allowed for Hamas to gain access to the money from Qatar and others.
Yeah, I agree.
To keep the Palestinians divided and therefore not having to move to deal with the stuff.
Dr. West, there are many things that we would find agreement on about the way Palestinians have been treated for a very long time. It has been a completely unacceptable occupation.
Well,
it should not have dragged
unacceptable,
but the idea, but hang on. Let me finish.
Vicious,
I know.
ugly.
Let me finish. But the idea that you categorize Hamas after October the 7th as counter-terrorists is ridiculous. They are terrorists, and they should be called what they are. Anyway,
but let me ask you, do you think the IDF is terrorists when they kill innocent Palestinians? Do you believe?
I think it depends.
Yes or no, my brother? Yes or no?
Well, okay. I would ask you this: if you were
yes or no?
No,
yes or no?
Hang on.
You're uncensored. You're uncensored,
yes,
my brother.
And I've been
yes
asked this question before. I have actually tweeted in 2014,
which I thought was so refreshing because you never hear people ask yes or no. Is Israel terrorists or what they're doing terrorists? And of course, you can't. If you say what Hamas did, what Israel's doing is not terrorism. And you've been very consistent. You distinguish between killing civilians and killing combatants, which which is a framework of international human rights law. But I thought it was interesting that you got him unable to respond to this, even as he on almost every episode he's done on the subject corners people with a yes or no. And then he tries to throw it back to you with a challenge. And this was great too.
I tweeted that what Israel was doing then was bordering on terrorism. I'm not afraid of using that analogy.
Bordering on terrorism.
Yeah, but hang on.
The children are being killed, right?
Yes, of course. There were children killed on October the 7th. I have serious misgivings about what's happening currently in Gaza, like most people. But what I would say to you, if you were the head of the Israeli government on October the 7th, out of interest, what would your response have been to that horrendous terror attack?
Well, I'll tell you the answer to that question, but I don't know why you just can't say the IDF is terrorists, killing innocent people, bordering on it's wrong. No, why you're uncensored? You're a free man. Tell the truth from your soul.
I am telling the truth.
Let me tell you what I would do if I was in Israel. I would end the occupation. I would end the siege. I was saying I'm committed to Palestinian dignity. I'm committed to Palestinian equality, and we Palestinians and Israelis, we Jews. And Palestinians, we're going to learn how to live together in the context of equality and dignity. We're going to have Jewish safety. We're going to have Jewish security. That's the very end and aim of Israel. We'll never see an annihilation of Jews. We'll never see another massacre or Holocaust of Jews, but we'll never see annihilation and massacre and vicious attacks on Palestinians either. That's what I would do.
Well, on that,
not just as head of Israel. That's what I'll do in the White House, brother. That's what I'll do in the White House. And I'll explain to American people why it is that Biden and Harris and others continue to enable this genocide. And then when they finally say ceasefire, they act like we ought to give them a moral prize.
I appreciate your moral clarity there in response to that often rhetorical question of what is Israel supposed to do?
Just tell the truth. Undermine the conditions that make possible this kind of domination, occupation. Make sure you keep track of the humanity, beginning with the least of these, that's biblical for me, which are the oppressed,
and then make a space in which oppressor and oppressor can, in fact, call into question that distinction and attempt to live a life together. And that's why I'm thoroughly convinced that the two-party solution, really, even again that Biden and Harris are talking about, is relatively empty. It's too late. There's too many settler colonialists who've taken the land, so that you end up giving the Palestinians something like a Bantustan state, a highly marginalized entity of which there's still Israeli supremacy, so the Israeli will continually have them under surveillance, have them under their power with a little small entity they call a state, and then say you ought to be satisfied with it. No, I'm not going for that easy. It's very interesting to me that I was just in Dallas at a wonderful gathering at a rally, and people had a big, again, controversy about this phrase, to the river, to the sea. And you said, well, right now, you've got apartheid from the river to the sea. No, not controversial. But when you say river to the sea, oh, you mean annihilation of Jews? No, we're not going. We don't have any patience for annihilation of Jews or anybody else. But if the alternative is river to the sea with apartheid versus river to the sea with a secular state, which one has a moral character to it? Which one has ethical content to it? How do we deal with these non-negotiables, what I call non-negotiables, which is Palestinian dignity and equality and Jewish security and safety? There will never be Israeli safety. There'll never be security for Jewish brothers and sisters as long as they are occupying, dominating, subjugating, marginalizing, and degrading, and outright hating Palestinians. Then they get upset when Palestinians hate back. Well, I don't believe people ought to hate at all, but I know people do hate back. You terrorize, people do terrorize back. There's no doubt about that. And we've had these discussions in the Black Freedom Movement, my dear sister. Nat Turner and Denmark Vesey and John Brown, a white brother, were they justified in killing white innocent children? Well, that's a serious debate that Frederick Douglass and Du Bois and others had. We got disagreements with that. I tend to be very, very purist about that. I don't think we should ever kill innocent people, ever kill innocent children. If you do, you ought to recognize that's a crime against humanity. You don't just do it and walk around as if this is just what resistance is all about. No, you got to make some moral distinctions, or you're going to end up killing innocent Palestinians who disagree with you. You're going to end up killing innocent Arabs who disagree with you. You got to have some moral corpus. But I do understand, and here Frantz Fanon's point is a powerful one, that you don't have control over this thing. And when violence is so deeply inculcated in the structures of a society, the oppressed are going to speak the language of those who are coming at them. Malcolm X has a powerful point. Frantz Fanon does too, and they're not the only two. So you have to be cognizant of that, but I'm holding on to some morality and spirituality. And of course, as you know, sometimes my leftist comrades say, oh, Brother West, are you talking about both sides? I can't stand this both sidism. I understand that point. Right. You can use both siderism, downplaying the nature of the domination, downplaying the structures of oppression, and downplaying the fact that resistance movements of oppressed people takes a variety of different forms. There's no doubt about that. Now, I'm not a pacifist like Martin and King and Tutu and others. I believe combatants can kill other combatants, and you try to kill other combatants. But of course, war, since war going back to the genocide against brothers and sisters in the Congo under Leopold in Belgium, you're just killing innocent folk in such a massive way that people say, well, come on, Brother West, man. Everybody's killing innocent folk. Everybody's going to do that. Well, why you have all of this equivocation and so forth? I said, no, I'm not necessarily better than anybody in any deep sense. I just want to have a witness that has some kind of morality and spirituality tied to it, even as I'm cognizant of just how vicious and ugly and bestial and barbaric these genocides and ethnic cleansings and subjugation and colonization has in fact been. And you can imagine, that's the kind of thing we could talk about a long time. Very
Well, I
much.
think there's a difference between moral consistency and both sidesing. I think the danger is if you say life is precious, there's a difference between killing civilians and killing combatants, and both sides are doing it, which is not what you're saying. I mean, I've heard you say that you have a larger indictment. I believe that was your word. Your indictment is larger of Israel because they are committing more of these crimes. But I think that, and you also are pointing out that what do you think is going to happen when you are inflicting violence on a daily level and a structural level? How do you expect people to respond? And there's a lot of nonviolent resistance from Palestinians. No one ever talks about that.
That's exactly right. I mean, in my Radical King book, I make the connections between the Antifada, the first Antifada was nonviolent. Second Antifada was primarily nonviolent. And of course, we also have to tell the truth about the ways in which the American empire and the Israeli elites tried to repress, suppress, and crush PLO, which was a secular leftist movement, which was nationalist but tied to a leftist analysis, and used fundamentalist Islam as a replacement, thinking that somehow that was going to be either easier to control or it was somehow going to be something that allowed them to get away with their colonial position, their position as, in this case, oppressors vis-a-vis the oppressed. And it backfired on it. It's part of the blowback. We saw it in Afghanistan, you see it in the Middle East, you see it in Egypt, across the Middle East. You crush the leftist possibilities. You support. I mean, that's Saddam Hussein and Bin Laden, all of them were on the CIA pay list. Because they were being manipulated by these imperial powers, centered in Washington, D.C., and then it backfires on them, and they become anti-American empire, which is not anti-imperialist as a whole, because they could be tied to other kind of imperialism, and that's a complicated thing too. That's a very complicated thing too. Iran itself, can suppress other Muslim brothers and sisters, especially precious young Iranian women, right? So they could be in solidarity with the Palestinians, and I'm in solidarity with Palestinians, but I'm in solidarity with women life freedom over against the mullahs. Well, see, that gets complicated too. And again, a lot of leftist comrades say, "Oh, Brother West, we don't follow you. We don't follow you." I said, this is my witness. I'm not trying to fit your leftist pattern. I'm concerned with oppressed people around the world. Same would be true in other.
And you're not calling for regime change.
What, in Iran?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, in Iran,
I mean regime change from the outside, I would say.
Oh, from the outside. Well, I would want the freedom for oppressed people wherever they are. And I don't want to fall into the State Department talking points, but I would certainly want to lift the domination and oppression of the Iranian people. There's no doubt about that. But that is very different than a State Department that's just using the Iranians as these little pieces on a chessboard. I'm concerned about the lives and the quality of lives of people who are living under repressive policies, no matter where they are. It could be in China, it could be in Russia, it could be in Iran, it could be in Uganda with gays and lesbians, it could be Black folk dealing with mass incarceration in the States, it could be working people in Germany. It's an international view that has a certain kind of moral consistency that flies in the face of any narrow ideological analysis.
I wanted to know if you could talk, a lot of people know about Christian liberation theology, but you as a theologian, could you talk a little bit about the prophetic social justice movements that stem from Judaism and Islam?
Yes, indeed. I mean, one is that in terms of my own life, I don't exist without Malcolm X, who was prophetic Muslim. I don't exist without Fannie Lou Hamer, Martin Luther King Jr., prophetic Christian. I don't exist without Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, prophetic Judaic figure, which is to say that they do not speak on behalf of the whole tradition. The dominant forms of religious traditions tend to be ones that accommodate themselves to empire and capitalism, patriarchy, homophobia, transphobia. The dominant forms accommodate themselves. There's no doubt about it. It's the prophetic forms that are critical of it. And so the names that I mentioned, for every Martin Luther King Jr., even when they were on strike, when he called for the strike in Montgomery, there was basically a little less than 20 churches out of hundreds. So it's not like the whole black church followed this young black minister because Rosa Parks had the courage to sit down and all to stand up for justice. No, it's a slice. When Heschel went down to Selma, the mainstream Jewish folk, and I'm sitting there looking at Jewish theological seminary right now because I live right on 122nd Street here, that they thought he lost his mind. You know what I mean? It's like, good God, I can imagine your mother, you and Brother David Weiner, two of the most distinguished graduates of the great high school, Dalton. You all throwing yourself in the liberation movement. Are they losing their mind? What's going on? You got to cut against the grain of one's own families and one's own traditions and one's own communities if you're going to be true to any serious allegiance to truth and beauty and love and justice and so forth. Even Hinduism is so tied to caste, and caste is one of the most vicious forms of oppression that we know over thousands of years. But there are some Hindus who are trying to call into question the caste system and hold on to the prophetic elements of Hinduism. Hindus for human rights, Gandhi at his best. Now, Gandhi did not hit caste head on. He was, in the end, he was very complicitous with it, but he had his own ways of talking about it that tried to transcend it. He was just unsuccessful in doing that. But that's true for any religious tradition.
And shifting gears to your campaign, where are you on the campaign? Where are you with ballot access? And how do you respond to the often regurgitated talking point that you're helping Trump?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, one, the good news is the Aurora Party in Alaska, first ones, helped get us on the ballot. Progressive Party, Oregon, put us on the ballot. United Citizens, South Carolina, that's all black party, put us on the ballot. And that's fascinating because Alaska, that's very much vanilla affair. It's a National Hockey League more than National Basketball Association. Whereas United Citizens is National Basketball Association. So you got black folk, white folk, all in the same band, coming together, solidarity. Oregon, disproportionately vanilla too. And we're on the move. We really, do have the signatures in place for the most part in Hawaii and Utah and Nebraska. Just a matter of making it official, getting across the line. So we're on the move. And I've been spending some good time in Texas and Michigan. And boy, we got some magnificent volunteers on the move. Same is true in New York. But if peace and freedom come through in California, and that's a nominating process, and I have to go through that whole process. So we really are on the move. As you know, a number of these states don't even open up for a number of weeks. And so it's a matter of as soon as they open the gate, we move in. And so we really are on the move. We should be, I hope, on at least 20-some states by the end of May, and maybe about 35, 40 by the end of the summer. And we hope to be on every state. The tough ones are Texas and California and New York. Oh my God, New York, 42 days, 46,000 signatures. And then the Democratic Party elites are making decisions for the most part of which signatures are valid.
Right.
So if they say 46,000, you better get them 90. Because they go invalidate about 1 out of 2. That's part of the challenges we've already had in a couple of states. But that's part of the corporate duopoly that all the talk about defending democracy, be concerned about democracy. You talk about ranked choice voting, they start shaking in their boots. You talk about voices from the outside, they talk about repression, but they're supposed to be so committed to democracy. You say, please, we can see your hypocrisy there. But the crucial thing is that we can't give up. We can't be discouraged. That's the crucial thing. It's so much coming at you. And it comes from everywhere. As you know, you got the gangsters on the right with Trump, neo-fascists to the core, pushing the country toward another civil war and proud about it in some ways. And then you've got genocide enabled by the Biden administration, let alone mass incarceration that he was architect of, let alone the pro-Wall Street policies, let alone steel not standing in the way of the organized greed of the fossil fuel industry and so forth. What a choice. What a choice. Civil War II and World War III.
And what can you do so that regardless of what happens with your campaign, you're building a movement? Because one thing that we saw that Bernie Sanders did is he inspired so many people, and he shifted the Overton window, and he made things that were presented as radical but were actually popular. He shed light on that. But then when he conceded, the left, which was unified around him, kind of fell apart. So what are you doing to try to create a movement that exists parallel to your campaign, but also exists regardless of what happens to your campaign? That, ladies and gentlemen, was Cornel West. And to hear his answer to that question, as well as his answer to the question about what mistakes he's made in the past, please become Patreon supporters at patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show. Again, that's patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show. And thank you to everyone so much for coming to watch the show. Please remember to like the stream if you haven't already. Also, please share this. Also, please subscribe by hitting subscribe and then pressing the bell. And if you can, become Patreon supporters at patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show. Again, that's patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show. I'll just read this super chat. Kamala's speech was a farce. Hamas already rejected that deal. It gave Israel everything and Hamas nothing. It was a whole load of nothing for cameras. Agreed. And Maxwell Sterling became a member. Thank you. Syed, our Masswood channel, says, Dr. West, it is so refreshing to listen to an intellectual giant like you. Super Sticker, thank you for that. And Free Palestine, no to backwards medieval religious ethno-states, stop U.S. military to everywhere, and media and permanent ceasefire, K. Harris, Sigh. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. And I will see you. And I don't know why someone's saying, I'm sorry, I can't do this Rumble thing, but you can just watch me here on YouTube. Sorry, I'm just reading some chats. I will see you next Tuesday, and we're going to have a great show. We're going to be talking to Ghadir Shafii, who is a Palestinian activist and author and organizer, and Dean Spade, who is a trans organizer. And they're both going to be talking about pinkwashing and the military-industrial complex. So thank you so much, and we will see you next week. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Tyler. And thank you, Phantom Esfanta.